Will unmute the stream to till I hear myself. Hey, there we go. We're back. Sorry about that, everybody. A little bit of a slow start, technical issues, as AI Box did mention. But welcome to week 3 of the Tilt Champions League. We have another matchup here between Dads After Dark and the Verdant Monkeys.
Yeah, it's this is going to be shape up to be a really good one. I think the bot lane matchup is going to be really interesting for sure. Probably one of the stronger bot lanes in terms of Monkey and Toasty versus bot lane with that's looked pretty good in the past few weeks, but maybe has something to prove against the top, presumably the top bot lane. So I think that's where my eyes are going to go for this matchup.
Yeah, I think I have a bit of a different focus here. I think a lot of Dads After Dark has a huge focus in the top lane, and really it's just the job of the bot lane to kind of just be there and let Blood do his thing. Whereas the other side, it's a lot of focus there on the bot side um, Verdant Monkeys, since I think you got a little bit of a weak side this season in Pokemon Panda. So I think that's going to be, even though it is a little bit of a flip flop for where the focus will be. I think for me, I think one team is definitely going to show through in this series.
For sure. I think I totally agree. And what just the fact that we're talking about it and approaching it from two such different kind of positions makes me really wonder kind of this early jungle pathing. I feel like we're going to have this huge focus on what these junglers are doing at the beginning of the game up until that 10-minute mark. What are their gank timings? What are their camp timings? When are we going to see cross map plays? When are we going to see objectives going down? That'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of this game will be on the onus of Rouge to kind of show up and carry his team through, since I think we're going to see Rook Stout coming top a lot to try to shut down Pokemon Panda. Not really shut him down, but really enable Blood, because we saw how in the Vertimonkeys previous matchup, Pokemon Panda had some good matchups. He played into Hippogriff, and they actually did gank Hippogriff multiple times, got him down to 0-2, I believe, in the second game, but he got a double CS lead against against the Shen on the Yone, which is a good matchup for the Shen. Which I think that shows more not much about Hippogriff, more about Pokemon, to where even in good matchups he's going to struggle. And I think playing against a even stronger top lane in Blood is only going to really come out in this matchup. And I think it's really just going to be a tale of the top gap for this series.
I wonder because it is one of those things where Blood hasn't always had the strongest lane. I'd say it's been kind of a 50-50 how ahead he is coming out of lane. Sometimes he's pretty far behind, sometimes he's pretty far ahead in these past couple of weeks. But nonetheless, he always seems to have game impact moving into mid late. In particular, I'm thinking about that Darius game where he was able to make big plays around Dragon, make big plays around the enemy bot side, and ultimately have a lot of game impact, despite at that point being like 1-3, 1-4 at that point. So really, really, I would definitely agree. There's potential carry out of that side.
Yeah, absolutely. Blood is definitely a very, very smart player. If he is put behind, he always knows how to get back into the game, or at least stay consistent. As his landing is maybe his weakest of his kind of um his playstyle, I don't think he's going to be challenged in this lane as probably any other matchup will ever play this season. So even then, I think he's just going to really just whatever champion he picks, he's just going to have a free lane, and which is only going to propel him into the late game to really just carry like we've seen him do for a many a time.
Sure. I mean, like that said, we just need to go back to last season to talk about Pokemon Panda's strengths. He looked really good, well, at least at the end of last season, and has had some pretty solid performances this season as well. Definitely cannot write him out, especially on that Gnar pick where there's, you know, make the most out of it before Strybreaker nerfs coming through. But nonetheless, his Gnar is definitely something to be looking out for as well.
Yeah, I think if he is given a counter pick here and does get a good matchup into Nar, I think Blood will definitely be challenged by that, especially if we do have Fruge kind of playing for him and at least playing to shut Blood down, because I think that is the way to win against Dads After Dark, right? It's really just a topside threat. Especially when I think the Verdant Monkeys have the bot lane advantage. So if Fruge does do a good job across the map and is able to keep Pokemon Panda at least even, I think they're going to have a decent chance heading into the mid and late game. But that's all to be seen here when we are having a bit of lobby issues. Lobby was unfortunately
You
kicked
say
everyone
like
out.
they're like only a top lane threat. I'm not sure I actually agree with that. Wojtek has looked extremely strong
Mm.
for the first few weeks of the season. I think he's been definitely always a carry threat within the games, and no matter what, has had solid performances to straight up pop up performances. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Wojtek is one of the most consistent and solid mid laners here in the TCL. I think he knows how to play the mid lane well, and if he is kind of put a there's a lot of pressure put on him. I think he always can show up, especially when he's on some of his signature picks, right? I remember a ton of games when he's just been on Oriana and has just almost solely carried the game. Um, so I do think Wojtek is going to definitely be a force, but I think just for me, it's more just of topside is the way that Dad After Dark is going to win. 110 out of 10 games. The whole entire season is going to be topside. So more for me, it's just will the Verdant Monkeys play to that to try to maybe not allow Blood to kind of take over the game, or will they kind of just trust Pokemon to play the weak side and then maybe try to play to more of their strengths? And I don't know what they'll do.
I think the side of Dad's After Dark, like you said, they do tend to pick for comfort. They pick for pretty good safety. They really like the Kaisa. They really like the Thresh. Offers a lot of like gank escapability. When you think about Lantern, you think about Kaisa ult and Flash. Makes that bot side really hard to play. And so I could definitely see it going either way.
Yeah, regardless, so hopefully we are in for another exciting match. I think we've had some really, really close matches over the past 2 weeks, and we've had some just absolute domination from some teams. The Footlongs have been one of them, um, which the Verdant Monkeys did play against. So hopefully, it's been a week since then. Hopefully, the Verdant Monkeys have maybe looked over some of the trouble spots they had. And obviously, Dads Ever Dark, strong 2-0 start. So they're looking to keep up that momentum, keep looking to end this season as one of the top spots, if not the top. And it will be fun to see not only the adaptation from the past weeks, but also in the series, since the series adaptations is one of the most important things playing into these best of threes.
Yeah. Here's hoping. I'm glad I have Hugh here with me to kind of join me along for the ride. I think if anything, um, I want to see, like you said, serious adaptations. Maybe what game one doesn't go one team's way. Maybe something happens with the draft. But as we're starting to settle into this kind of mid season almost, kind of like we're kind of coming out of the early season, teams are definitely starting to have more of an identity, have more of an idea of what they play, what they are good at, kind of the way that their lane or their early game will type kind of shake out. And now other teams are going to be learning those weaknesses, those strengths as well. So it's all about those mid-series adaptations, but also those kind of season-long adaptations when you're kind of learning more about your opponents and maybe weaknesses that could potentially be exploited. So I would say, kind of moving into this, you said there's going to be a huge top side focus for that. That's After Dark. I would agree with that. Whereas the side of Verdant Monkeys, you never really know. I think Fruge has, yes, he's played toward bot side sometimes, but he's definitely not ignoring the map. I think he's a very opportunistic jungler, and like I said earlier, this first 3, 5, 6 minutes are going to be super super fun to watch.
Absolutely, and not only that, with the season long adaptation, one of the things is there's more matches for your opponents to watch, right? So the more matches you play, maybe the more of your game plan can be exposed. Maybe the more of understanding maybe how other teams want to play the game, and you can try to counteract that. Now, only 2 weeks, maybe there's not too much to go off of, but there definitely is some. So it will be hopeful to see if teams have done their homework, make sure that they understand their opponents and the matchups they want to have to be able to try to find any advantages they can, right? And obviously, I think it will be very, very early game importance. So whatever team really I think comes out in the early game will kind of set the pace. Because I think if Dads After Dark come out strong early game, I think they're just gonna dominate the game and win. But if the Vermonkeys Monkeys can come out and have a either even or head early game, I think they have a chance to take a game. So
Yeah,
it will just be the story of what happens in the first 5 minutes.
yeah. I will say, don't just a quick check. Mama Knowles has bestowed her buff on surprise surprise, Mr. Toasty TG's team. I don't know who could have seen this one coming, but just a quick update for everyone on the Mama Knowles buff.
We'll have to see how that pans out here as we are officially getting into Champ Select. We're going to see which of these champions each team wants to prio. And right off the bat, we see taking away their thumb blood on the top side. We also have the billion ban there. And then if that wants to go to either mid or bot, that is a bird pick there.
Yeah, Verd, with a little bit of name change action, but nonetheless, that is Verd in the middle lane. Toasty TG, Monkey, Rouget, and Pokemon Panda joining him. Of course, the classic top lane bands, like you said, going forward, Bloodbath Beyond the set, and then the Wukong. Always have to respect that.
Yeah, I do really like how they take away the Gnar though. It is probably Tokemon's best champion. And when he's not on Gnar, I think he struggles a little bit in some of these matchups, like we saw in his match against the Footlongs. So I do like that ban. We also see the Rumble taken away. I do like that, as it is one of the top tier junglers. And we'll finish with an Ezreal ban, one of the best AD carries.
Yeah. I think that's totally fair as well. Ezreal is a champ that you can play super safe on. Fits Berg pretty well with the way that he tends to play within the team. It's also just stupid strong right now, so I totally agree with that getting out. Just as a general rule of thumb, if you're not going to play him, just ban him.
Yeah, absolutely. He is probably one of the best AD carries to pick here, especially with how strong Frozen Heart is, especially if you are a lot of AD team. We will see the Thresh locked in, going there to Swiss Army Cabinet.
Yeah, pretty
And
standard for dads after dark. Always it gives them a really easy flex pick. Not really a prio pick or a contested pick. Monkey does play the Thresh, but I don't think that they would lock it in immediately just like this within the first pick. They might in response, yeah, pick support, but perhaps not with the overall first pick. And Swiss Army Cabinet gets his champ for sure.
yeah, I do really like the Morgana response, though. Obviously, the Black Shield counters a lot of what Thresh wants to do with the hook, with the flay, and all the CC across the rest of the team, depending on what they pick. And it's one of Monkey's best champions, so I do really like that. We do have the Viego Hugger. Viego
Interesting.
Hover.
I think that would actually be a jungle Viego. I can check on Pokemon Panda really quick, but I don't believe he has been. Yeah. Okay. I will say I do believe that solo lane Viego, it does tend to be a little bit stronger than jungle Viego at the moment, so I'm not surprised. It is interesting that they would hover it like that though.
Yeah, I don't know if Bird has picked up the Viego for the mid lane. I would expect that to go jungle, because I don't believe Pokemon Panda plays that either. He's one of the weak side champions, so we'll see if maybe it will come in for the rest of the series. But they will lock in the Ziggs. That is a potential flex.
Fresh
We'll have to see
buffs.
if that comes through. But
Yeah, we
Zach,
saw I think last week control on the Ziggs, and the man just did like twice as much damage. So that's a scary day for sure.
Ziggs is definitely very, very annoying with all the poke, with all of the high damage with his ultimate. Can really do a lot if it's placed well in a team fight. But we'll see the Zac here for Rook's out, one of his signature champions this season, is also just a very, very good to jump in from the bush and go for some nice ganks.
Oh, interesting. They're going to pick the Samira into the Morgana. That's kind of an interesting decision, especially given that Thresh's initiation nature is fairly single target, unless you're just walking up or like flash flaying or something like that. It makes it a little bit harder to play against the Morgana. As a Samira, you're already inherently a little bit short range. You can like farm and poke with Q and stuff like that. But I guess Berg is just really feeling the Samira right now. She's definitely not a bad pick.
Yeah, I don't hate it, because Samira's W can cancel the Morgana Q. So if they want to look for that kind of all in, and it's really, really perfectly timed, that can go well. But obviously Samira is a very, very, high risk, high reward champion, so I will be interested to see how that is piloted. But rounding out the first round, we will have the Nocturne locked in, and that could be solo lane, but it could also be jungle.
Yeah, I think it could be really any number of things. It might be top. It's definitely obviously not going to go on to Mr. Bird, but I think that's also kind of gotten the Lee Sin syndrome, Lee Sin treatment, excuse me, where solo lane Nocturne is now stronger than jungle Nocturne, just with the nature of how gold works in the jungle now, with the nature of how XP is. You just want all that golden XP from being in a solo lane. He actually lanes fairly well.
Yeah, and coming into the round 2 of bans, we do have the Mordekaiser banned away. And the Darius. So very, very heavy top, bans coming out here. The Aatrox is still up. I would assume that if he's given a good matchup, he would be locking that in, since that's really one of the last gems he picks outside of potentially the Stylus, or maybe he's got something new on the table.
Yeah, I mean, he could go with like the Shen. He could go with he's got a few standbys for sure. Shen onto the Samira, not necessarily the worst thing in the world. They're pretty low CC team so far against. Excuse me. Really, the only thing that he needs to be worried about is stuff like the binding. So I actually don't think it's bad. Once Samira's able to get out of lane fairly even or maybe a little bit ahead, she can maybe run rampant during team fights.
Yeah, potentially. I think if Blood is playing this properly, he should definitely go for a more of a carry bruiser champion, since I think he will be given a little bit of an easier time in
Oh,
lane.
the Vayne. Interesting.
Yeah, there was the Kog'Maw hover, that would have been fun to see, but with no really true enchanter to support it, the Vayne can be definitely fine. There hasn't been too many really tanks picked yet. I don't really foresee
I
Blood
actually wonder
getting
if
a
this might be the
Talon.
Malphite game for Blood.
With 2 AP, I don't know if I'd recommend it, especially knowing Blood as a player. I think he should definitely just go for a carry. I think if he picks Malphite, that gives really a free advantage
Oh, the
of
Talon for Watch.
Verdant Monkeys, but I really like the Talon pick. That should be exciting to see how we see Wojtek potentially, just perma roaming. Talon can obviously do a lot of damage and can really be a nuisance when he is just allowed to roam across the map. So hopefully we will see some kind of adaptation here from the Verdant Monkeys to see maybe if the Nocturne goes a different lane that can, potentially follow up with the ultimate following Spurg. But
Yeah,
Aatrox,
you
yeah,
called
I
it.
like
There's the
that.
Aatrox.
Hmm.
Notably, entirely AD damage profile coming from Daz After Dark against something like a Poppy. Quite a good pick, I think. I really like that response pick, and the paranoia just in general kind of making it very annoying for these fights. Nocturne actually going to the jungle. Like I said, Nocturne not necessarily in the best state in the jungle, but he's definitely playable. It's not like he's like an absolute like Z tier, F tier jungle to be playing with. I just expected it. Usually in pro play, what you will see with the Nocturne is it'll be kind of an early flex pick. I'm not sure if Pokemon plays it, and I'm not sure how like the champion pools have really shaken out with that. But I really like what I'm seeing from, excuse me, gosh, the Verdant Monkeys. Just with what they're able to do with this team comp, they kind of got a little bit of everything. Whereas on the other side, we're seeing a little bit more dive, a little bit more full 80 damage.
Yeah, I think the Poppy is very, very interesting. I don't think I've seen Pokemon on the Poppy before. So I will be interesting to see. Obviously, there is a lot of dash champions on the side of Dad's
Oh
After
yeah, it's
Dark, so
phenomenal.
Poppy will be able to shut that down. So we'll have to see how he plays that in lane, right? Playing
Yeah,
against the Aatrox dash could do a lot, and an ultimate will be useful in those team fights for when you have the dive of the Zac and the Talon.
I mean, you're talking every single champ on the other team has a dash, right? And there are also full AD, which Poppy's going to feast on. I think this was an excellent final pick from Verdant Monkeys. Just have to make sure that this Poppy doesn't get too far behind him. Like,
Yeah,
in team
absolutely.
fights, he just sits on top of the Samira. He just sits on top of the Vayne and lets the Vayne do whatever she wants. There's a lot of ways that Pokemon can play this.
Yeah, I think that Vayne will have a little bit of a difficult time though, because there is a lot of dashes though. So if Vayne is not really playing these fights properly, if we get a little bit of a Vayne spotting in this game, we'll definitely will be a little bit of trouble. But Morgana hopefully should try to nullify some of that. So it will be, I think, a lot of onus on Pokemon Panda and Monkey to kind of enable this Vayne, while you see these Ziggs and the Nocturne kind of just playing for damage and then potential dive with the ultimate.
Yeah, I'm actually curious, just with the state of kind of Lulu right now. They did hover the cogs, so maybe they were thinking about the Lulu cog. Going with Morgana obviously never a bad choice if you're kind of worried about some of the initiation that's available on top of your carry. But I think Lulu Vayne, Lulu Cog, that's pretty dang strong. That there's a lot of opportunities there. But I think overall, Verdant Monkeys have gotten just everything they want. And Dads After Dark, onus is kind of on them to be making the plays.
Yeah, I do think if you watch any of the pro games, Lulu is a very, very contested pick, and Lulu can do a lot of damage, especially when you have things like the Karma to enable things like the Xin Zhao, the Rumble. Picking something like the Lulu Cog would have been, I think, is one of the best lanes you can pick, at least in the state of the meta. Um, I would argue that maybe the onus is on the side of Dads of the Dark, but I think that's fine because I do like some of the ideas of the comp of Verdant Monkeys. I just don't think they're going to execute that too well. I think it really comes down to playing it well, and I don't know if they will be able to play it well.
Sure.
And I think really I think the kind of just solid team fight comp of the Dads of the Dark is just going to be like they don't really have like if they make mistakes, they can really get those covered up because it's a much more easier comp to execute.
I
But
think
I
that's
could
a
be
fair
proven wrong.
criticism. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair criticism. I mean, that being said, a lot of it depends on if they're able to make it out of the early game, right? Because they are a little bit more of a scaly comp versus you're talking about like a Talon maybe roaming with this Zac. There's a lot of potential for four mans onto this vein that they've kind of picked into this matchup. But it's tough to say like exactly how these teams are going to play against each other because a lot of this is going to be on what the junglers end up deciding to do. Nocturne with his first level 6, Zac maybe with some of that more early pressure unless he gets invaded. I think there's a lot of potential for maybe some early skirmishes if the talent is able to kind of go and support any sort of play that's happening as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will be really the tale of how the junglers play to keep their laners in the game or push them ahead. I think it will really be on Fruge to maybe try to play for that level 6 and look for those dives with just really, really well put CC from either the bot lane or the top side. I think Voidtech is going to put a lot of pressure onto the Ziggs because he won't be that high mobility, especially when his rocket charge is down. And obviously, Talon can just really just dive on top of you immediately. So we'll really be, I think, the story of Vertimonkeys just trying to really play it safe, play consistent, and waiting for the jungle to make really, really good ganks to push themselves into the mid and late game.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing a couple of the people load in. Verd with that TP, notably Talon with the Ignite instead. Kind of me making plays. That's a very scary matchup for the Ziggs. Generally, Ziggs, you just like sit back and play safe. He's probably going to be pushing it maybe a few of the levels earlier on until he's able to get some levels, get some AP to be able to kind of actually wave clear effectively. When Fruge is able to kind of pass off some of these blue buffs onto him as well. But either way, we're on the Rift.
Yeah, and we should see the standard 5 point start. No early game shenanigans, unfortunately. It's always fun to see teams looking for those
30
invades,
seconds
looking
until
for
minions
those
spawn.
early advantages. I think there could be a decent invade count there from the side of Dad's After Dark, but they'll just choose to go for the 5 point. No need to risk anything early game, but I do think Verd will have a lot of, or Wojtek, I apologize. Wojtek will have a lot of um, potential to really, really snowball this game if he is able to either get some really, really good roams going and just look for the all-in burst, or if he's just able to shut down this Ziggs. So
Minions have
depending
spawned.
on how this match goes, depending on if we do see the Zac kind of, staying in one of these lanes or just really, really playing across the map, it will be, I think, the story of, if not topside, it will be a lot of mid for Dad's After Dark.
Yeah, I actually really do think there should be a bot lane focus for both of these teams, though. Samira isn't a champ that loves to just kind of sit there and AFK in lane. She's a champ that kind of wants to be doing things. In this matchup, might be a little bit hard once Vayne hits sticks. You're talking even if the Morgana binding gets W'd, Vayne just generally has a little bit more damage unless Samira is able to stack up really really fast, which is not always easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vayne will definitely be very, very scary scaling into the game, but I think this early game definitely goes into the favor of the Thresh Samir, since those are definitely some of the strongest early game champions in the bot lane. If Morgana can really land some good bindings, has the Black Shield ready when the Thresh hook comes up, I think they can definitely, um, you know, stop any potential, all-ins. But that's really up to the prowess of Monkey being able to show up, and he has on Morgana this season and the past.
Yeah,
So the question is, can he do it again?
nice little push coming out, as what you would expect for the Samira. Meanwhile, other lanes are looking pretty even. Verd looks like he's CSing a slight bit better into this melee matchup versus the Talon, but Talon obviously level 2 now. That's randomly kind of a power spike for him. Definitely very, very scary what he's able to pop his passive plus Ignite. I believe is his passive Noxian Diplomacy? I've been trying to read up on these.
Not too sure, but I think there definitely will be just some really, really, Q throws out there from Verb just to be able to get the CS safely. Because if he does step up, and he will have the rocket charge down, it will be just free picking for talent since he does have the ignite, and that is really, really scary for those all ins.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Correct myself. Blade's End. Doxing diplomacy is talent skew. So,
mm,
in case anyone was wondering, but top lane looking remarkably even. Unfortunately, Pokemon Panda already down a pot, but he does have those biscuits to help him. Notably, we haven't seen biscuits as much. Still see it a little bit in the top lane, but after that, the damage he sees pretty much the damage. The gold nerf coming through. Ooh, a nice little hook onto.
yeah, we'll get some damage down there, but I don't expect them to be a kill. We will have the Fresh Lantern out there. The
Wow.
Bane kind of free hitting and almost doesn't do enough damage, but with the passive proc that will do enough. So
Yeah,
not too
excellent
bad.
chain in
Definitely,
CC.
yeah, definitely will be in favor of Dads After Dark here in the box. Sorry, not in favor of Dads After Dark. Monkey with a
Ooh,
really
nice.
nice binding there.
Yeah, basically negating a lot of that pot right there. Monkey landing two really nice bindings in a row, and Bank kind of comboing that condemn to prevent Spur from taking that lantern. Puts their lane all of a sudden in a ooh.
Ooh, Flash will come out there from Berg. He will get away with a great rocket charge there, so it was a good gank. Then from Rookstown, unfortunately, could not get the Q in time before the Flash charge comes out. So flash down means a good opportunity for a repeat gank.
Oh
But
my
right now on the
goodness.
bot side, they are being run down. Very, very low HP. Hook will land there onto Monkey, but he will immediately die. Fade might be able to kill the Thrash, but not in time as the Samira will get the double kill here
Wow!
in the bot lane.
Oh my goodness, Rook.
I think that might be a
What a
bug.
series of events.
Oh no, it's not a bug. That is his jungler. So he was coming around for the jungle flank. It looked really weird on my screen because he had 0 HP. I thought it was a bug, but not a bug here. I think he went for the invade and got chased out there by the Nocturne. So good on him to live, but that was a really, really good turnaround there from Dad's After Dark.
Yeah, we might have to be reevaluating who we think are the best lanes in TCL. You're talking about Spurg and Swiss Army Cabinet 2v2 killing Toasty and Monkey. To obviously two super highly regarded people in their roles. Swiss Army Cabinet going for the turn with that hook and immediately capitalizing when Monkey has no chance to respond. Meanwhile, they're heel baiting and then Swiss Army Cabinet with a nice splash over the wall, and Toasty's just left holding the bucket the entire time. And he's like, "What am I supposed to do with this thing?" And Spur gets another kill to round it out. Oh my goodness, what a play.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Bane was not able to kill the Thresh with a great flash over the wall. Topside though, Tungan Panda is forced to flash and TP back, as I assume Blood will probably TP back here as well. So Blood with the 10 CS lead will be looking to go for that solo kill again with no flash. But right now, Pokemon Panda is doing just fine. Does have the Bramble, so he will be able to negate some of the healing there from the Aatrox. But right now, early game definitely is a great start here for Dads After Dark.
Yeah, I mean, and Thresh with the early Merc Treads really just does not want to be locked down. Uh, I actually kind of like that. Even though they're pretty low on CC, he just needs to be able to get to doing whatever he does in team fights. So it'll be great for lane, and once it comes out of lane, it's definitely the useless side. Tenacity is always a good thing.
Yeah, but so far in this early game, we do have the Zac again on the bot side. Might just be looking to start up the Dragon with the
Oh my
bot
goodness,
lane
this
trial
gold
if they
diff bot.
will.
Did you see that? Smear's like
Uh,
800 gold up.
Wow, I mean, that's what about a 10 CS lead and a kill and an assist will do for you in this early game. We do have our almost the 2k gold lead, and the Dragon will definitely put them into that 2k gold lead. So right now, After Dark are just really, really smartly using their prio in their lanes to gain their advantages. And now they're going for a blue invade, and this is only going to put Fruge farther behind.
This is, I mean, Fruge trading on the other side of the map, so they're just kind of playing cross map. But unfortunately, this is forcing the bot lane of Verdant Monkeys to play super, super back, and they have kind of a rough wave to be doing this. Meanwhile, there's not much of a threat topside. So if you're talking about just pure pressure, yeah, you're trading even resources. As we can see a gank.
Ooh, the flash there from Blood does not land, as is a great flash away from Fruge, but that is 2 flashes now burned for Blood. Almost gets 2 solo kills there, so even though Fruge was looking for the top side kind of advantage, gets shut down by Blood with a great, um, pushes him out there into his own jungle. So Fruge, even though he does have the CS lead, unfortunately, he is not in the lead of the pressure and the priority. So
Well, yeah,
what he still
exactly.
wanted
You're
to
talking about resources they traded evenly, but if you're talking about what they can actually accomplish on the map, it's not even at all. Blood was able to force the jungler back out. Meanwhile, Rook, as we just panned away, oh, cool. That's an unfortunate pull. And as we panned away, Rook's out, ganked bottom, and forced the flash out of Monkey. So now all of a sudden this lane is looking really, really difficult.
Yeah, and especially with a champion like Samira that is only going to get harder as she gets into the item, but
No.
great ultimate there from Monkey, looking for it, but unfortunately Rook Stout is here to support, and that will be Monkey's death flash forward there from the Zac, looking to take down
Oh my
Toasty as
goodness.
Ferg with the ultimate executes him, and that is another 2 kills there in the bot side for Taz after dark.
Wow, what a play by Rajoa. Earlier makes the play, sort of, realizes he comes in that his bot lane has just 2v2 killed him. Now goes for the gank over the Tribush wall with all of that prio from taking the blue buff, and then repeats through the lane, and this time gets both of them with his flash, knowing that Monkey does not have flash into blue, that spell killed early.
Ooh, that was a really, really good setup play there. We had the ultimate there from the Ziggs in the mid lane. Nocturne ultimate over the top with the Poppy shutting down any potential dash there, since Blood did not have his flash and could not get away with the E. So, a really, really great counter kill there on the top side. But this early game is really the story of Joa just being everywhere across the map. So, good counter kill there, but it's going to definitely need to be a few more if they're going to want to keep themselves even in this game.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be the Samira show. She is so far ahead on this Vayne. Vayne's going to take quite a while to kind of recover from this kind of deficit. Can't really contest the lane like the Vayne wants to be able to into this type of like short range matchup. But oh, as Talon is here. Oh no.
Yeah, and there's nothing Poppy can do at that point. Very, very low HP. Voidtech with the Ignite doesn't even need to use it. It immediately blows him up, but
Oh, you didn't pick it
able
up?
to almost chase off Rouge. Now, he could potentially look for
Oh no, they're
Brooks
not going
out
to get
here.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
this
can't
is
really get that.
tragic.
That is a really, really good rotation there from Verd to shut down
And the
the
Rift Herald Eye
Rift
is
Herald.
just going to despawn. No, don't do it, Wally. What? Oh, my
I
heart.
mean, this early game is really cool to see how both teams are forcing each other off of different advantages and putting across what is going well for them. I mean, Fruits tried to do that. We will see the Morgana land the root. So, also, flash in there from Toasty looking for the kill there on to Spurg. Spurg very, very low HP. Will be
Wow,
shot down
that
here.
throw.
Looking now. Looking for the kill there on to Swiss Army Knife. Binding does land. The Rooks out is here, though. We will have the jungler here join as well. So, 3v2, but with the Talon roaming over now, this might be a little bit dangerous. Passive there, pop from the Zac. Play will most likely be dangerous, though, as the Vayne should be able to get away no problem, but that is not the same story for Fruge, as Rookstop will take him down. Lucky the next one to fall, as we do have the Ziggs roaming down, but Stopwatch will temporarily stop the fight, but the Q almost executes Monkey, as he will be able to land the binding and walk away. Throws down the W. Q, ooh,
Oh,
really,
that's
really great.
cute.
Really, really great Q there from the Ziggs to take down the Thresh, and that is a really, really great fight there from the Verdant Monkeys.
Yeah, kind of a crazy extended fight. Then it starts off because Burke is feeling himself a little bit too much, tries to go in really hard, gets bound up. Meanwhile, Toasty immediately just realizes there's an opening right there. They've already been used, and just absolutely annihilates Spurg for pretty much just his ultimate cooldown. And then after that, it's just everyone collapsing on this. Bird actually showing up a little bit late, opting instead to clear out the midway first before showing up to that fight. But ultimately ends up in a pretty positive trade for Verdant Monkeys. They are able to get a big shutdown over onto the Vayne, some more gold onto Fruge, and get that Zac passive out prior to this next Dragon Tail.
And I was about to say that Dads of the Dark are really, really the ones making all the moves here in the early game. They're looking very, very great. Monkey looking like he wants to go in for the ultimate again here, but the ultimate there from the Nocturne above top means this is a 3v2.
Oh my god!
Blows up Spurg. Looks out is here again though, jumps in, will just be able to go them away to save the Thresh, but like I was saying, now this early game is really in the favor of Verdant Monkeys. They've really, really kind of shut down. Ooh, and the Talon just gets shut down off the screen. Morgana, I think, lands another binding, is able to shut him down. As the Ziggs was very, very low HP, able to stay alive now as this Cloud Dragon will be going over to the Verdant Monkeys.
Oh,
But
I totally forgot about this actually. Yeah, Toasty actually lived that last exchange too because Waj on the Talon comes in and is trying to make a play onto him, but doesn't quite have the move speed to be able to follow up that last little activation to be able to proc his blade. So Toasty lives on actually 1 HP, and it just kind of snowballs into the plays that we just saw. Comes back into lane full health and is able to just kind of continue push it out for the repeat game from Fruge.
yeah, Monkey just dives across the map to the Samir. I'm not sure where that happened, but Monkey, I think, was low HP from that fight, but gets maybe a little bit greedy, looking for something more, and gets taken down there by the Samira. So A little bit of oversteps from both teams getting capitalized on by both sides, so good on both
Yeah.
sides to do that. But the gold lead now is just about 1k. With that dragon take, definitely feels good for the side of Verdant Monkeys, gets them, a little bit more stabilization in this game. The question is, how will the rest of the game go? We will see more really, really great moves there from Fruge, and the 2v2 here from Monkey just running the other team down, or will, the Dads of the Dark really slow down the pace a little bit and make sure that they play to the natural advantages they have, and topside, there is about a 30 CS lead here for Blood.
Yeah, exactly. And this has really quite started to snowball. We saw a lot of action up here in the top side lane. So far, all of it has featured Blood outside of that one, basically 3-man up here. As for Choa, wow, they're just going to be trading camps back and forth.
Yeah, Fruge will be here, though, to claim that camp away from him. Looks like might be looking for the
But
smite
here's the
steal.
Talon Roam. Oh, the smite!
Early smite there from Fruge, unfortunately. Great ultimate there up top, and it actually goes back in, maybe just to
He's here.
scare him away. Pokemon Panda is here, though. The binding will land
Oh,
there.
nice!
Monkey will be killing out Void Tech here, as now Blood might be next. Kind of going in a little bit as a flash there from Monkey. And the binding will land there onto Blood. Lots of healing
Excellent
there, but
collapse.
yeah, Fruge will be able to take down Blood, and that was a really, really great collapse there from the Verdant Monkeys.
Oh my goodness, we saw the chain knockup from that Poppy W Pokemon. Catches both the Talon trying to jump over the wall and Joa trying to wind up for his last slingshot. So really just a lot of value out of Poppy already in this video game. And then they catch Blood on the backside for basically just 2 for 0. And the only thing they trade is this bot lane staying bot, securing this tower, which Zane's like, okay, I'll take this farm anyways.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This early game has gone, to my surprise, much better in favor of the Verdant Monkeys. It will be able to take down that mid tower with the rocket charge there from the Ziggs. And right now, the Verdant Monkeys are just doing so well for themselves. Poppy did die once, but 4 assists, 4-1 for Fruge, and bot lane obviously scaling very well. And not Voidtech, I apologize. Bird doing super solid here on the Ziggs is looking really good for themselves, even though there is a little bit of a disadvantage in the goal, just about 600, but another body in there.
I mean, that's all in the bot lane.
And we do have Fruge here, but this should most likely be the death for Voidtech, as the shield does come in. Ultimate there will take him down, as now he will just be looking to escape. Samir trying to get there. Ignite is burning down. One more auto would land.
Oh no!
He might just be going to execute now, as he's trying
Looks
to
like
hide
he's
the bush.
still dead anyways, but it's not going to go onto Spurg. Oh, unless he's able to force it.
Not sure if the 10 seconds is up. Really,
nope, not quite. Ooh, yeah. Probably should just give it to the Zac.
Yeah, Samira does get the shutdown. Not the worst thing in the world, but Blood here in the bot lane. Not sure if he TP'd, but almost TP'd to his death here. As we now have the Ziggs ultimate. Unfortunately, it does miss. Q there from the Morgana just short now, as the Samira is here to join the fight. Blood is very low, though, so Samira will be able to get one. Ultimate is stacked up. Almost be able to get 2. Monkey actually will die.
Nice play.
Verd barely lives, so that was a really great turnaround there from Dads After Dark.
Excellent play by Spurg. Comes in on the cleanup, realizes that Vayne has used all of their summoners, and as long as he blocks the CC coming with his W from Monkey, because it's a very low CC team from the other side, as long as he blocks that, he can absolutely win that 1v3. And he does just that with this huge gold lead, and he's going to be building toward that collector when he goes home too. So he is so strong. They really need to be careful and always be aware of Spurg.
Yeah, and this is such a back and forth early game. Both teams are making really great plays, really capitalizing on the mistakes or the oversteps of the other team. And well, unfortunately, the gold lead is about 2k in favor of Dads After Dark again.
Yeah. Really, I mean, that's all on the
bot side. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
top CS and bot CS. Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that Verd is actually down in CS, given how much. Oh, as we see the Nocturnal.
Yeah, Nocturnal will land. Unfortunately, the ultimate there from the Ziggs dodged out. Monkey's here. Will land the key there onto Rooksel. Pops the ultimate. Will just be able to walk out with 4 members there, and not really enough from his team. Blood has roamed down as well, potentially looking for the dragon spawn here, but there will just be some traded ultimates. W will land from Blood, but not really much down there, as we do have the low HP there on the side of Spurg, so we'll have to be careful.
Yeah, I actually want to point out kind of a slick little move from Spurg there. So the Nocturne comes in, Spurg actually dashes through Nocturne onto where the Lantern is, and goes like kind of whoop straight into safety. So clean little mechanical move there, but and it's going to secure them the dragon because Spurg stayed alive.
Yeah, first ones to the river, prio there in mid means that this is most likely going to be theirs. Not really any kind of response there from the Verdant Monkeys, kind of just sitting around in their own jungle. No really advantages gained across the map. I guess Poppy is pushing topside, so that is good for them, trying to get some more CS into her pocket, trying to complete her first item, as Blood already has his, so sitting away this jungle will definitely be a little bit of a consolidation, but not too much.
Yeah, exactly. And as objectives start to fall, this all their gold is really on this Nocturne. Nocturne is going to start to get to a point where it's difficult for him to be able to make the same plays that he normally does, especially into a super hyper dive comp like Dad's After Dark is sporting. So, but the one saving grace that they have is they do have Bird on the Ziggs. A lot of stall power, a lot of wave clear, and it makes it very difficult if they're set up properly. Perhaps not like in that jungle fight, or excuse me, in that dragon fight. It makes it very difficult for them to be able to do objectives. So I really want to be able to see Bird getting active on the map, getting active with his team, and really participating in war fights.
Yeah, but right now we have all major items completed here for each side of these teams. No mythic there for Monkey. We'll just go on with the stopwatch to help with the ultimate engages. But this Vayne and Samira now with the shield bow will definitely help for any potential burst. Will make them also a little bit more scary, looking for the potential dive and having that little bit of safety net. But we do have Dad's After Dark here posturing around the Rift Herald, but we also have Vermonkeys here for a potential quick response.
Yeah, I like Monkey actually skipping the Shurelya's. Imagine he'll probably get a Shurelya's. I actually like him skipping that. I think he's just going to get a lot of value from the science. And I think just in terms of what his team needs him to be, he needs to be in the middle of these fights getting ults up. And I think Monkey made a good decision getting.
Yeah, definitely. And Monkey has really shown how well that those ultimates can work because he's just walked forward face first into the bot lane of Spurg and Swiss Army Captain, and they have gotten those those 2v2 responses, but
Oh, it's
unfortunately
gonna be a
not.
solo kill.
Ooh, actually,
Ooh,
we do have
there's
Fuja
Nocturne.
here coming out to support, and Wojtek would have gotten that solo kill if not for the jungle assistance. So that was a really great support there. As now Monkey pops the ultimate there onto Rookstown. Unfortunately,
Missed the
does break the
binding.
chains just as it was about to pop. So almost a really good play there. But topside, Blood is actually very low HP
I don't
against
know
this
if Toki
top
wins
lane.
this. Oh,
A little bit
having a
of
little bit of stutter.
yeah, we will have a great ultimate there from Tokamon to push Blood away. So no gank, potential not gank.
Oh,
So
nice
we
binding.
will have another great fight. Monkey will go into stasis, but only will be shortly as Push Arm Cannon will take down Fruge. Ziggs very low.
Toasty.
Actually, Vayne just popping off here in these fights, just dashing and diving all over the enemy team. Monkey will take
Oh
down
my
one
goodness.
as Bird takes down the other, and that is a great fight. And Tokamon
Oh, and he wins
topside
that!
just
What?
solo kills Blood, and this is not the early game I would have expected. This is the domination from the Verdant Monkeys.
Oh my goodness. Tokimon playing super patient, waiting for Blood's ult. He realizes he can't take that fight when Blood has his ultimate up. But as soon as that phase, he just re-engages, wins the 1v1. Meanwhile, mid lane, no, they cannot do this. But meanwhile, mid lane, Monkey soaks up so much damage that, wow, there's some mixed calls going on here.
Yeah, that was just a really strong play from Toasty. He dodged out all of the dive there from Dead
Watch.
of the Dark, able to, peel around and kite out the side of Dead of the Dark. Wojtek might have to be a little bit
Yeah, just talent things.
yeah, we will have the ultimate there
Oh.
land. Fuji will go in for the ultimate. He will be able to jump into the wall. Into
Oh,
the
he
waiting
misses the
hands
flash.
of the Verdant Monkeys and does miss the flash, unfortunately, and he will miss it to his death. So another great kill there from the Verdant Monkeys.
That's paranoia down though. In exchange, they actually give up a lot of mid. They're probably gonna lose this mid town. So I think Vlad just kind of thinking to his head, kind of worth. Oh, but the Tokamon flank. Oh, the big box the lantern! What a play!
Ooh, and that means that will be Samira going down to the Ziggs. The fight is not over yet, though. We do still have Tokamon Panel looking for the engage. Unfortunately, Workstop will have to flash out. He will be diving away from the paranoia, not the paranoia, but the fear there. The mining does land there. We'll be able to do another kill. Frontline Vayne here. We'll have to be a little bit careful as low HP, but this is just
It's
really
Baron angle.
yeah, it's definitely a time for Baron. Rookstout has to back. The rest of the team has to
Oh,
back. But actually, they might just be setting up for the Dragon
they're
here
gonna.
in about
I mean,
20
they could have.
seconds.
I think they could have easily gotten Baron and then gotten Dragon Pop. The Dragon was still like 30 seconds at that point. This is such a macro mistake.
I disagree. It's a 10-second
They
spawn right
absolutely
now.
shred it with Ziggs and Vayne. They could have done
Even
Baron
though
so easily
even
there.
though they do shred it, they would have lost a dragon here because Zach is already here in the bot side, so they would have traded
I mean,
Baron
who cares?
for who
You get
cares?
like
I
a
mean,
23-minute Baron.
a solo win con here for Dads of the Dark definitely would be something to fear, right? With the burst potential from the Talon and the Samira. But I don't hate the play. Um, I
I just
do.
think, okay, you do Baron, you do it instantly, and then at that point, Dragon is just starting to spawn, and then you just have inside prio after the reset, anyways. I just don't necessarily agree with that.
That might be true,
Um,
yeah. But they will decide to go for the dragon regardless. They are now in the gold lead of about 1k. Dragons now are equalized, so no potential, um, soul win con here yet will stop the third dragon. But right now, really, this has just been the story of Dads of the Dark, I think, trying to make something, trying to really go for those proactive plays, and then just getting shut down from the
I mean,
side
huge
of
shout
the
out to
Burning
Toki in
Monkeys.
that last play, really making it all work, right? He notices that Spurg is walking backwards for the lantern, walks in between Spurg and Fresh. Oh, as we see another fight.
Yeah, we will have the Paranoia going through, but
Oh
will not land
no.
as we now have Vortex
Toki!
blowing up Toasty. Unfortunately, that is all of their damage gone, so we will have the Binding land there. Hook will actually land too, but we will have Blood here now as Pokemon here is joining the fight. We'll push down Blood. We'll have to be careful. Does have a lot of
Gore
healing
Drinker.
though from the Gore Drinker. Ultimate does land. The Verb will take down Blood. Very, very low HP there on
Andries almost
to
takes him down.
the Thresh. Fruge will take him down as now the Dads After Dark will have to run away from the push. So a really, really unfortunate positioning there from Toasty, but his team really, really capitalized there on the aggression from Dads After Dark. Pokemon with a great roam to shut down Blood. Pokemon is actually just showing up this game so hard. I have never
Yeah,
seen him play the
exactly.
Poppy. He has exceeded my expectations
I
far,
mean,
far.
I think just as a rule of thumb, Bane, you have to be a very patient player. We sometimes see we've seen Toasty kind of do this in some of the previous games as well. Maybe trying to get really hyphy, not quite waiting for the angle, tumbles straight into a Thresh hook, and as Flush gets completely blown up. But in the entire time, Toki coming in, like you said, saving that fight, ulting two people out of it, as Blood is basically just by himself in the back line, and then they just are able to turn on with the fear, with all the Ziggs damage, and just instantly nuke down Blood. And then after that, it is a one fight for them.
Yeah, and right now this Poppy is going to be very, very difficult to kill. We can see the gold leads now. I believe almost every single lane for the Verdant Monkeys has the gold advantage, except for bot lane. Samira has the only lead for her team right there, about 3k above the Vayne, simply because of the 60 CS lead. So we will
Yeah.
have Spur just farming super, super well, but we will have to make sure he plays these fights because he is the one member that can turn them for his team.
Yeah, notably, not a whole lot of healing reduction coming out from the side of Verdant Monkeys. We do see the full Thornmail and then the Morellos being built up. I thought we would see maybe some um, healing reduction built up from the Vayne. I realize that's actually two people that you actually really want healing reduction on, especially since they put it down. So maybe the Vayne doesn't need it in the end, but with that shield though, with that PD, isn't quite looking as strong as the Samira, who's on her next phase definitely going to have that full Infinity Edge.
I think it is. I think it is too early to afford for Vayne to go for that healing reduction. I think going for those really, really key items in the Phantom Dancer in maybe the IE is much more worth, especially when you can just have Ziggs with that AoE damage putting out, and then Poppy obviously just being frontline. So more than enough here. We also have the Serpent's Fang for the for Fruge to shut down any of the shielding there that I guess the Thresh can put out. There's really not much shielding really else in the
Yeah.
game, so
The Locket's actually done quite a bit of work. I mean, there's also the shield though on top of that, and you're also talking about just the general ability of like Thresh to throw down Lantern, shield somebody. It's not necessarily the worst thing.
yeah, but right now we will have about a minute until the third dragon from both sides. So we have the ultimate again there from Fruge into the bot side. We'll
Oh,
have
they're
the
diving.
flash there away, but Fruge is going in. Flash there from Pokemon Panda, unfortunately. Will pop the GA there, but he does not die. Looks out is here, but
Oh,
Monkey
he
is
is
here
way
as well.
too
So
in.
Looks out, unfortunately, might be jumping into his death. We'll be able to maybe CC Pokemon, but he will be able to walk out with the
So
support of
tanky
his
though.
team. So really great pick there again for Fruge.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, this is a full AD comp into this Poppy. Pokemon is at this point is feeling remarkably invincible against this team. I mean, who in that situation they just don't even they realize they cannot even catch him. Meanwhile, Verd is 1v1ing Blood.
Yeah, Blood is very, very low HP. We'll have to be very, very careful. Ultimate, I believe, is up. So if he did get a little bit too, actually no, it is down. He must have thrown it to get him that low HP. So
Yeah,
with all
and
of those low
Spurg with that
HP
full
bars,
Infinity Edge on that item check as well.
yeah, we do have the Binding Land, which means that Morgana will be looking for the kill there, but he will be able to flash away. So Morgana ultimate will be thrown down there, but this means there should be a free Dragon, Blood, and Rook Scout forced to back. So really, really just great pressure put down from the Verdant Monkeys.
Yeah, it's still tough for them to walk into this as well. Ziggs just now coming into the fray as well, but the Paranoia, and then there's the Joe engage.
Unfortunately, does not get the Smite Steal there, but low HP bars will take down Monkeys for the
Oh.
one. Looking for the ultimate pop-up, unfortunately cannot get it just in time. Low HP bars all around, Blood cannot get the kill there on the Tosi, but this means that all of the members of the Dads After Dark will fall, can only kill Tosi in the end, and Monkey. So that is a triple kill for the Ziggs, and that is an ace for the Vernon Monkeys.
This Poppy is getting so much value. It's unbelievable when you look at what that fight. Threshlight lands a pretty good hook and engages right as Joa starts to re-engage as well. So nice timing from the support jungle duo. But like you said, the smite still doesn't quite come through, and Bird is chucking bombs on the other side the entire time. Samir tries to make a play, but dashes straight into the Poppy W, and he gets stunned up and just isn't able to do anything. This Poppy value pick is absolutely insane. Blood tries to salvage the play on the back end, but at that point the fight is already over. There's just nothing that can be done.
Yeah, and the CS lead for Blood does not matter, even though he has more gold at this point. Tokyo Panda has just really just come out and just outshone him. He's 2-1-13 now, has so much KP, gold bounty on his side. Blood is 0-5, very very rare to see from him, and Tokyo Panda of all players to push that down to him with a solo kill. I mean that is impressive from
Yeah.
the side of the Verdant Monkeys. And right now, Verd is also just popping off on this Zig, doing so much damage. 8-0-10, 1,000 gold on him for his
Yeah, I think
bounty.
also critically though, I just don't love the shield build on the Vayne. It's not really saving him from anything. Talon still just bursts straight through it, and especially if Talon ends up opting for the Servant Thing route, it really, really will be a detriment to him. I think you just go Kraken Slayer, you get that attack speed pass, you get damage. I think you just get much more value out of that in this game because you're playing around your mobility things. You don't pick Vayne to then try and be.
But I think,
Nonetheless, it doesn't really matter.
yeah, I mean, I think the shield though makes sense just for the dive potential, just to be able to keep her alive
Yeah, but
just
it's
a
not
little
doing
bit.
anything. He's just dying through it is the problem.
I mean, even though it might not do anything, they're all focusing the Vayne, which allows the Ziggs and Tokomon to just kill the rest of the team. So, regardless
I
if it works or
mean,
not,
I
it's
mean,
working this game.
that's going to happen even if he has Kraken Slayer. It's just now he has worse out of the team. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter because, like you said, they are far enough ahead that Ziggs is enormous, and so is honestly Fruge. Fruge on this Nocturne has kind of been an unsung hero this entire time. Hyping up Sophie, been hyping up everyone else on his team, but this Nocturne has been extremely scary, especially with the Paranoia going into the backline and then kind of heading backwards with his team. He has been an absolute force.
Yeah, whenever his ultimate is up and there is someone out on the sideline alone, he is just there immediately. They have gone on to Wojtek three times I think now, and they have shut him down just because he's just been out of position. And that's really just a testament to, Fruge just really, really working around his team super, super well. And
Yeah,
right now we will have the potential just Baron setup here for the Verdant Monkeys.
I also want to draw attention to the fact that we kind of talked about this dive setup that they have going on, but Poppy denies that so hard. So what happened during that last fight is Rick Stout kind of went in for the steal, and so did the Thresh. But meanwhile, on the backside, Samira tries to go in once she gets her combo, but Poppy just completely stops that from happening. And they're a little desynced on this complete initial engage. They need to be all on the same page in order to make these types of fights work.
And right now the top side is being taken away from Dads After Dark. They're just pushing them back into their own jungle. Really, any 5v5 that the Dads After Dark take will just be a loss at this point. All they really have to do is just try to look for some kind of mistake from the Verdant Monkeys, or just hopefully try to scale themselves back into this game, since the Samira will be very, very scary when she has a couple more items, right? She will have the 3 completed items, more items than the Vayne. Maybe the Vayne is sitting on a lot of gold, needs that reset, but
I
I
don't know
see
how
it
they kill
as
this
an ace
Poppy though.
strategy.
I mean, like, do you have a solution to this Poppy? I really don't. He is just building full armor, doesn't have to do anything else, and then he just sits on his carries and presses his W. Like, I'm worried it's just going to end up being kind of a comp difference as we go into the late game.
Yeah, and that comp difference is probably the reason why we are in this state of the game, right? And I don't think you can really kill this Poppy unless the Poppy really just kind of dives in and just really goes for the int. But I don't think that's really going to happen because really Tuckerman is sitting on his carries, like you said, and that's all he needs to do. Because he just has to sit there, be a nuisance, and the damage will be there from the rest of the squad. So we will have the Dragon spawn here in 10 minutes. This will be sold for the Verdant Monkeys as Fuge is here. Look at the
Oh, they're
feeder
going for
onto
it.
Lookstout. Lookstout looks like he's going to die here. No passive. Means that he just immediately dies. Monkey will take him down, but it will trade back there onto Toasty again. Smear unfortunately dies right into the ultimate Fuge with another one. As we will see Blood here with the rest of his team. We do have the GA pop there as Blood now is forced to potentially run away. And he will be able to pull back
Toki's
Pokemon, but
so
that's not the
freaking
first thing you
tanky.
want to
Oh,
pull in.
blood!
Monkey will be the next one to die, but unfortunately there's just too much damage here from the Verdant Monkeys. Verd will take it down. Blood is now there chasing down the Thresh. Talons is just going to be forced to back. And then we have the TP looking for the end here for Verd.
Yeah, Toasty dies at the beginning of the fight, but in the end, the rest of the team is there to support him. They look for a play onto Rook Stout and are a little bit desynced at the beginning of that fight, but in the end, Toasty does that percent health damage. He's able to shred through the the Zag, and at that point, his job is done. And the rest of his team is able to come in and clean up. Bird doing so much damage in that fight, and Toki and Fruge with that GA being very, very difficult to kill.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Verdant Monkeys cannot go for the end. They will only get one inhibitor, Nexus turret, but
Oh,
they
they
will be
might be a
looking
little bit late.
for. Yeah,
Oh my
unfortunately,
god,
the
he's
Nexus,
impossible to kill. Oh my goodness, Toki's just taking no
almost.
damage.
Rouge again with the ultimate there, as we do have the Zanyas there. Talon is here that will be able to shut down Verd. As we'll have Fruge most likely being the next one.
Oh,
Misses the flash, unfortunately. Blood
that's
is
a
here,
throw.
which means that the overstep
No,
from the Burn
Toki.
Monkeys is unfortunate, but Toasty and Monkey now are back. Pokemon Panda cannot be killed, and Blood unfortunately cannot do anything but just die. And they're going for the end again. A little bit of an overstep there, but with the respawn timers good for the bot side of Burn Monkeys means that this should be the end.
Yeah, so a little bit of kind of a mess between the mid jungle duo of Bird and Fruge aren't quite able to deal with that talent, but the entire time Toki fighting everybody else. He's just like, have you guys thought about killing me? I'm just here. There's nothing anyone can do about it. And finally Toasty comes in, does so much damage, he's able to clean up.
Yeah, there's nothing that the side of Dads After Dark can do. Ultimate pushes looks out back in. Thresh cannot do anything but watch as his Nexus falls, and that is game one to the Verdant Monkeys.
Yeah, I have to say, it feels a little bit like a comp diff. It feels like Bird Monkeys just had a better read on what they needed to do this game, and then Dads After Dark drafting that full AD after the lane phase. Spurg on the smear looked pretty good up until that 20-minute mark when he just got really shut down by this Poppy. He had a really hard time getting through the fights when you're talking about Ziggs minefields, you're talking about the paranoia, you're talking about Poppy W stopping him from doing anything. It's really, really hard to play these smear into team fights, and he wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think comp diff was the reason why the late game was probably going to be unwinnable for the side of the Verdant Monkeys because their comp really just was not going to be able to shut down. But
Yeah,
getting
can
to
we get
that
a damage
point, it
graph on the
was.
screen?
Yeah, I think getting to that point though was just team diff. They got outplayed at every step of the way. We see, I think, every laner of the Verd Monkeys outdamaged their counterparts,
Yeah.
and I mean that was comp diff, but it happened after team diff. I mean, they really, really, they looked a little bit rough in that early game with the double 2v2 in the bot side there for Spurg and Swiss Army, but
Yeah,
the
I think
side of Verd
a
Monkeys
lot
just
of the
came back.
difficulty of that, even beyond the Poppy, I feel like we talked about that big enough. But even beyond that, I think the difficulty of the Dads After Dark team comp is that it's extremely execution heavy. They need to be on the same page on when they engage. They need to be on the same page of when their go button is. And if they're not, if they're maybe 3, maybe even 4 seconds apart from each other, and when they're going for these engages, all of a sudden these fights are impossible to play. Because now Talon isn't going to be able to get on the back line and execute something. Now Blood isn't going to be able to create all that disruption. And Joe is not going to be bringing the CC for the smear to be able to combo off of. And then after, if you're not able to make that happen, then your pump starts to.
Yeah, and I think this was the story of the junglers, though, as we said before. It was Rooks down in the beginning, looking for those really, really great ganks, blowing flashes, helping for the second 2v2. Fruge just really turned it around, picked out so many different members, went in whenever possible with the support of his team, and That means that we will be the game advantage here for the Avert Monkeys. We will be right back here for game number 2 for the third week of the TCL. Stick around, you won't want to miss it. Welcome back, everybody, to the Tilt Champions League. We just saw a great match between the Verdant Monkeys and the Dads After Dark. It was very, very back and forth in the early stages of the match, but Verdant Monkeys just came out and they came out swinging, and it was a banger of a match.
Yeah, it was definitely looking very favored in favor of Dads After Dark, especially since we're saw like a huge gold lead for the smear, like 2K at one point almost. But meanwhile, they were able to claw it back through honestly just a superior draft. I gotta say, they had a little bit of a worse early game, a little bit less tempo, especially compared to the Zac and then the Aatrox. But after they were able to kind of get over the hump, get into some of these team fights, get into some of these team plays, they looked really, really good.
Yeah, and I think it really came down to just how well they played those fights and how well they looked for those picks. Monkey really just would just run down people with his ultimate. Toasty really popped off in a few of these fights. Pruja just ulting whenever someone was alone in the side lane, and Verb was just the silent carry there for the entirety of the game, just playing consistent, doing a ton of poke. And Tokuman, I think, who surprised, I would say, all of us with how well he played into Blood, and how he even got a solo kill against him.
Yep. And then on top of that, just been absolute menace in these team fights, stopping the Thresh Lantern from reaching safety, stopping talent jumps, stopping slingshots. I mean, what can he do in that fight or in that game?
Yeah, I mean, he did everything he needed to do and more, and I think that the Dads of the Dark will definitely be surprised after that match. I don't think they would have expected that. I don't think I expected that. So I don't foresee it going the same way. Maybe it happens again. Who knows? But I would expect that other Dads of the Dark maybe are a little bit smarter in the second game.
Absolutely, not a whole lot of draft adjustments so far. Actually, we're still seeing that set, we're still seeing that monkey, and we're still seeing the bird and then the Gnar, or excuse me, the bird, the Cillian and the Gnar on the other side. So both teams kind of sticking to their guns, at least with the ban phase, really making sure that they get some of these one tricks, some of these really high priority champions.
Yeah, I think definitely the Vernon Monkeys have to really make no adjustments because they did play so well. I think if they really did the exact same thing, they could potentially just win outright. I really think that it is on the side of the Dads of the Dark to adapt, and they need to
Oh,
adapt. They
just
really,
Trey top bans going against Blood.
yeah. I mean, they shut him down, and like I said, I think he was normally their team's win con. So with no top side, and with your bot side just kind of popping off how they did, even though they fell behind, there was really nowhere for the Dads of the Dark to gain an advantage. So
Yeah,
Ezreal
notably they
ban
are red side
again.
this time around though, so I wonder if they do say Blood that true last pick, just say he can absorb the bans. We just want to make sure he gets a good matchup. Um, and meanwhile, there's the first pick from that's the Ziggs. Yep.
Yeah, I really like the Ziggs. It worked really, really well for Verd. He played it so very well. I don't think Vortex is going to have anything that he's going to play better into that because I think the Talon was a great answer, but he just didn't really do enough with it into Verd at
Absolutely.
least.
Yeah, he was pretty strong. He roamed quite a bit, was able to put the rest of the map in a pretty decent spot, but they needed an absolute insurmountable lead, and they weren't quite able to deliver on that after about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I
Meanwhile,
mean,
I gotta say, Mama Knowles. Mama Buff going toward Verdant Monkeys. Obviously, gonna go to the Verdant Monkeys, but prediction comes true. Actually saying this time around that Blood is gonna come back with a vengeance. Wow, what a prediction. That's
yeah,
excellent.
I don't think you really can shut down Blood. One, and
Hmm.
expect to see it again in the same way. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I
he's a
totally
very,
agree with
very
her.
strong player, and he knows how to get himself back to the game. And especially with counter pick this time, he's going to save it for himself. I would be surprised if it was for anyone else.
Yeah, at the same time, still running it back with the Zac instead of the Samira, and that's why I was worried about the Samira last game. I think Samira is kind of a more feast and famine. Sometimes gets hard to play these team fights because she has to be building up that combo, um, in particular against the Poppy. Now the Tristana instead. I wonder if they're going to run back the Poppy.
Ooh, and the Rumble was banned the previous game, and now it is open. So that means it will be Fruge locking that
Wait,
in. So we'll see the Rumble in the
that might
jungle.
actually be nuts. Like, could you imagine? Poppy goes in, Rumble to ult on top. They can't use abilities to get out of it, so they have to either blow a flash or something else. This could be another value Poppy pick.
Yeah, it could be. I think if how well Fruge looked on the Nocturne, not being the best jungler, also not being the worst. but Rumble is one of the best junglers if you can, like, really what you see in the pro scene is if Rumble ever gets a kill, it is usually like the Rumble just popping off, but if Rumble doesn't really do anything, he doesn't really,
There's the poppy
has
ban
the potential,
immediately.
but
Yeah, that's fair. And the Rumble, like you said, huge prio farms really well. Is able to get to a point where his ult CD is so low, and he's just able to use it in every single engagement. And in particular, this Rumble Leona combo is something we're seeing a lot in the LEC, the LCL. Excuse me. Wow, my words. The LCS and the LCK quite a bit. So both of these regions really favoring this particular combo. Obviously, the Leona sets up really well, and Leona has quite a good ability to be able to enable the rest of her team.
yeah, absolutely. We will see again 4 topside bans there from Blood. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 5th, um, pushing him down even farther into his champ pool. The Shen is banned away there from Tokomon. So if there is an Aatrox ban, I think we will have to see Blood on something new. He does have the Silas in his pocket, but if all of these are banned, I don't really know what he would pick.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he could steal. There's obviously the equalizer. There's the Leona ult. There's the Ziggs. There's quite a bit of decent stuff that he has available to him if he wants to go for the Silas. I actually like the Gwen ban as well. Gwen is in just such a state where if a Gwen is ahead at all, can make the game absolutely unplayable for everyone else.
Yeah, so this does mean that this could be another Aatrox game for Blood with not that much AP. He could also go to Silas, depending on what we do see Tokomon here pick. The
Yeah, Boy's going to be on an AP champ this time around.
Yep, Voidtech, one of his safe, solid, strong champions there in the Oriana. Will be very, very powerful in these team fights. Is a really good pick mid, so we'll just be the mid laners kind of just most likely handshaking, looking just to kind of like scale into this game to see who can really out team fight the other one.
Yeah, exactly. And he's probably going to be going with his barrier plus the Airy, just being going to be very, very annoying and difficult to kill. At the same time, with the Jhin for Toasty, I like this pick. It's a pretty safe pick. Combos really well with the Ori, combos really well with the Rumble. They're looking together to put another, excuse me, they're looking to put together another really solid team comp that functions really well together. Solid lanes, solid power picks, but also when they get to team fighting, there's a very clear direction and there's a very clear way that they want to play each engagement.
Yep, and the bane of Blood's existence here, the Cho'Gath, is hovered and most likely will be locked in. So that would be the
Yeah.
Cho'Gath.
And they
This
do
would
say
be a very,
Blood's pick.
very good Silas game for Blood.
This is the most predictable thing that they save red side, they save Blood's pick for last pick.
Yep, I think if this were to be a Silas game, this would be the one. Silas does really, really well, not only with
Yeah,
the Cho'Gath ult to get
big.
himself get big, but like you said, the Ziggs ult, the Rumble ult, the Leona ult, like every ult in this game is good for Silas.
Oh,
But
the Nasus!
wow, that
What?
is
What the
interesting.
heck? That of all the picks, I thought. I mean, Blood plays the Nasus. He's definitely played the Nasus quite a bit. But just of the ones that I had considered, that is so far not even in the same galaxy. It's like across the universe of what I thought he would potentially pick. I was kind of leaning toward you. It would have put him a little bit AAP heavy, but this is definitely a good option this time around. And obviously the Aatrox was up, not an incredible Aatrox game, but definitely still potential. But most importantly, just but kind of trying to handshake out this top lane, and they have a lot of scaling from the side of Dad's Regard.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Nasus. I think it maybe
I
makes
don't
sense.
really, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because obviously Blood will just get a natural CS lead, and Cho'Gath kind of does fine into like just being able to push Nasus back a little bit. Has some good CC for a potential Rumble gank, but
Yeah, I mean,
Nasus, even
my,
though
my
he
issue
is
is that it's super easy to punish this Nemesis as Ziggs Rumble. You just walk up, you roam up with the Rumble, you just press both of you press R, and all of a sudden Bloodbath and Beyond is not having a good time because Cho'Gath with the silence, with the knockup, with the slow is able to set up really easy for this. So my worry is that Verd and Fruget are able to roam up and punish this pick really hard after about like 9 or 10 minutes.
yeah, and even though Nasus is one of the strongest scaling champions in the game, he has to be played properly. If you see that there are one trick Nasuses that will just solo carry games because of how the champion works, and he can be very, very broken in the way that this the game works because of how he could just build straight tank. You can never kill him, and his Q just heals up all of his HP. I've never seen Blood on Nasus. I think it will be fun to watch, but I don't. I think that's really him trying to 1v9 too hard.
Yeah. I think there's an interesting point to be made if he's able to get past without really being punished in the early mid. Uh, who's going to really stop him? If he's able to get any sort of lead or even come out relatively even in stacking, it's going to be very difficult to deal with him kind of moving into the mid late game. The question is, how are Verdant Monkey's going to be able to punish this pre 15, 16 minutes? Because that's kind of their window for making sure that Nasus isn't able to stack, and they're able to take the Rift top lane, and then rotate into that pressure around the rest of them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the CC for the Verdant Monkeys will definitely help. Having the Leonas and just, throw down all of her abilities, Jin W to follow up.
Mhm.
And then Cho'Gath has the Silence and the Q Rupture. So there is a lot of potential just to stop the Nasus from just being able to run in there for free.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think
I
this will
mean,
be I think this will be a Wojtek game. I think,
yeah.
Spurg looked fine on the Samira. It looked good to start, but Samira is hard to play into something like a Vayne that wants you to come into her because she can just kite you back. So I think the Tristana
I mean, the nice
is
thing about Samira
yeah.
is though is if you get your ult off, you just press on her. It doesn't matter if she goes invisible. You're still tagging her. So, but yeah, I mean that being said, kind of moving down the map, like you said, it's gonna be there's gonna be some mid lane focus. Both these mid laners have the potential to kind of make big plays, do a lot of damage. And I want to throw a little bit of love bot lane as well. It's gonna be tough for Leona to be making plays. Obviously, Tristan's gonna be able to buffer things, and that's on top of Thresh potentially flaying her out of her E. And then the safety of having both jump and lantern, it's might be a little bit tough for this bot lane to play. But if Monkey is able to land that, say Tristana or the Spurg didn't bring in cleanse or any sort of healing or excuse me tenacity or anything, then all of a sudden, if Monkey lands one combo, then Tristana's definitely just dead between Leona and Jane, or excuse me, Jin.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the story of who engages first, because whoever engages first will most likely lose this fight, at least in the bot lane 2v2, since using your, one key ability first means that the other team's key ability is up. And Leona has, I would say, a few more with being able to outlast this. But we'll be loading
Monkey
into
Rock in the Battle Academia Leona Prestige Edition. I want to shout that out.
yeah, Monkey, a little bit of a flex there, but we will have the double ignite bot, no cleanse for Spurg, so maybe kind of betting on his support to be able to stop any kind of Leona engage, double
Yeah.
TP mid and top. So this will be a more of a, I guess, a similar kind of expectation from both sides.
I'm a huge proponent of this, and I know it's not like the most popular opinion, but I'm a huge proponent of even if you don't get a whole lot of value out of cleanse for the rest of the map, and you can still cleanse off a couple of things, like the Cho'Gath slow, like things like Ignite. But even if you're just taking cleanse to completely negate this Leona, I still think it's the same. It affords you so much safety. It affords you like also aggressiveness when you're able to go in. And also it just allows you to position more aggressively when you're talking about late game. So I think cleanse would have had a lot of value, but of course heal, all good utility, never the wrong choice.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that comes into to play and seems if it's bites them in the end. Who knows? But we do see Swiss a little bit slow to get to the 5 point. No early game invade means that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I like
But
that watch as the tier start. I actually would have thought that Verd could have gone with the tier start as well, but at the end it'll be pretty nice to have that extra HP in the mana regen coming from the Doran's Bane as well.
yeah, I don't think this is going to be a very, very high intensity mid lane by any means. It's just going to be a scaling farming expectation. So I think
I
the
know.
the the tier makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but once again, I am so curious about these early corners. Looks like both junglers are starting with their bot sides. Um, I like how the scuttle fights are going to pan out, how the early just general pattern is going to be. It's going to be really fun to see.
Yeah, unfortunately, Blood did not go any kind of fun room topside. No kind of spell
Yeah,
hook.
unsealed.
Yeah, he did not go any kind of AP poke in terms of going something like the common or anything like that. We just go the boring grass, same as Pokemon. So we'll have to see if he really. I think this game is going to be again. If Blood will play this one well, I think he can still carry the game. But I just don't think it's going to happen personally.
Yeah, exactly. And as we're kind of looking at it, it looks like Spurg is going to be on the Tristana, getting a little bit less of a push. Dragon Tracer Tristana, obvious skin buff, but he is against a Prestige and Cosmic Jin, so it's going to be looking pretty tough. Nice play.
Yep, play stopping has potential there. They did get the level 2 prio there for the side of the Verdant Monkeys, but
Yeah.
we'll be playing safe there for the Dead After Dark, so nothing really going on there. Pokemon now with the gold lead, or at least CS lead as expected because of how weak Nasus is early, so it does have the early push here.
Yeah, pinging away top, worried that Joe is going to be coming up there. Pokemon Panda does have a ward, could go and set it down, but at the same time, they have vision actually on Rookstout clearing this Raptor camp. So Pokemon knows that he has complete safety because Rookstout has not actually taken his red.
Yep,
Nice
and I
ward. I'm not sure whose ward that was, but that was a good play from the side of Verdant Monkeys.
yeah, we will have Rooks out there on his red. Pokemon Panda will this this wave push
Oh, this is
because it
so
has
good. Pokemon has played us so well, and it's going to be pushing
mhm.
back to the goal.
Yeah, really good for him since he will be able to set up a potential freeze for the Rumble to come and help him out. Rumble there is in the river already, getting the Scuttle. I believe he went buff. He might have cleared his bot side and then went to the buff to the river immediately because of how fast Rumble can clear. Right now he's going into
Yeah, he's going to come and
the
help
mid
for a
lane.
push out, and he's going to double skull him. Wow.
Yeah, and this is just going to be a very rough
Wow,
start
what a
there
tempo.
for Rookstown. Yeah, Monkey roaming up, pops a shield there, and this is the power of the Rumble. This is why it is such a high priority pick here in the professional scene.
Yeah, exactly. Notably, Fruge actually opted to skip his crop, go straight for the scuttle. Realizes that it affords him such a huge tempo lead with because he has that early ward on the Raptor. He knows that he has a huge lead on the clear and is able to get the double scuttle and a deep ward to track Joa on his bot side clear as well. What an amazing early macro play from the side of Verdant Monkeys. Excellent showing so far.
Yeah, and I think whatever happened between this previous game against the Footlongs and now, just this team turned a corner. They look like a very well put together team. They look so strong and so solid, and not only their individual play, but
Oh,
also in their
Toki's just
macro
beating him up.
play. Yeah, I don't think he's
Munch
going to
him.
be able to get the kill. No level 6, just gets him down pretty low. Blood has very low mana, so won't be able to really throw on his W too much and get any kind of the passive Q stacking. So really well for Pokemon to play this lane as he should pre level 6.
Yeah, notably, like you said, a little bit hard for Monkey to really kind of super force that engage. Swiss Army Cabinet clearly has played this matchup once or twice in his life, prepared on that immediate level 2 to play him out of his E. At the same time, we're seeing a TP back into him.
Yeah, and Blood was pushed back to TP as well, so we will have this nice giant wave pushing in. It should be a free reset there for Pokemon. Verd or Voitech will be looking for the reset as well, and most likely will TP back to lane 2.
Yeah, I really like that Wojtek actually opted to go for the TP this game. Sometimes really likes the barrier into certain matchups. TP, I think, is just in a state where you have to take it, and you really don't want to get behind on the Ziggs because he is going to be a tower taker, has that passive auto, also has his W side charge able to bust most with that.
Reduced for the W root land there onto the Thrush, but Monkey does not decide to go in. Could be a little bit scary there if it did go
Four
wrong.
shot.
He to be able to push him out. We do see
Yeah,
the Q land there. W does not land onto the Thrush, unfortunately, so it could have been a really great fight, but just
that's
barely missed
exactly
the
what we were
W.
talking about. It's just so tough for Monkey to force engages. You're talking about Tristana being able to W buffer any sort of route. You're talking about Lantern coming through. You're talking about Thresh being able to play leading out of a combo. It's very difficult to be able to play out this lane and at least force aggressive plays. In the end, it might just be another handshake win.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's going to be the who gets the first blood this game, because this is definitely a slower and quieter game than before. Really, just because of the nature of the champions on both of these sides. But I think there will be another story of how can the junglers really play to interact with the map.
My
Since right
goodness.
now, again, early game start, it's the dragon, but Pokemon
So
will
let's
be dodge
flash.
prone. Let's have Flash and be able to get away, but with the Q and the R, should be able to keep himself safe. Blood is forced to just walk under tower and out.
He
So
gets out.
Yeah, decent temp there. We'll give Blood some plates. We'll give
Wow.
him some more stuff, but great ultimate there from Verd. We'll probably clear that wave almost, as we'll have
Oh my
Rouge
goodness.
now invading into the bot
This
side,
is
taking
insane.
away.
This is the snowball effect of that early clear. Where Joey finishes his clear so much later than this Rumble that Fruge is able to clear full clear alongside the Zac and then go bottom and secure the drag and this steal. Meanwhile, his topside's playing safe, is able to get out of that gank, and is not punished for it at all. So Fruge just gets Dragon, gets blue buff for absolutely nothing, just from these early tempo plays. And that is the snowball effect that these early jungle has, and the snowball effect of all of these early kind of cumulative little advantages that they've been able to accumulate. What an excellent job by Verdant Monkeys early so far.
Yeah, and Rooks out, jumps into his bot side jungle, and the CH is all gone except for the other wolves. So we'll have to be forced to clear away those, and then move to this top side. Is now this Rumble is just several camps ahead of the Zac, and it will only get worse and worse as this game goes on. But we do have the Zac topside, so it could be maybe looking for another repeat gank here, as the Flash is blowing Pokemon. He is roaming up, so if Pokemon is not careful, this could spell his demise, and I think he might be
Yeah, no
a little in
flash, might
over
be
his
kind of
head.
rough.
Bot side, though, there is a fight going on as well. We do have the W there.
Oh,
Land
the W
on
in!
to
Spurg! What a mistake!
yeah, and that will
Oh
be the kill.
no!
Ultimate there will force the Flash out from the Tristana, but with the Flash there, we'll be able to shut him down. Pokemon, unfortunately, a little bit overzealous, but Rookstock gets the kill. Definitely probably the one you would prefer to
Yeah,
have it on.
still
So,
overall
would be traded.
hugely positive.
Yeah,
Spurg making
hugely
a
positive.
huge mistake. Cassandra jumping in, not quite realizing what's going on with Rumble. Run Rumble immediately shows after there with the equalizer. Tristana gets the full satchel charge, is able to jump back out, but then is forced to his flash because he's now just jumped back to the same position. So his army cabinet sacrifices his life, and his lead is going to expand, even though Tokmine dies up in the top lane. He does go to the jungler, like you said. And Zac, not a bad person to put it on, but not going to be making them at the same time as his analysis.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really, really good for the bot lane from the Verdant Monkeys. You know, they were the ones to fall behind early, but I don't think it's going to be the same tale as
Rumble
that.
might be able to
That
contest this still.
2v2 kill will definitely be helpful, as we do have Blood roaming down here to support Rookstout. We do have Fuji in the jungle, but I don't think he will be able to do much in time before this Rift Turtle is claimed.
Yeah, obviously not omniscient. I was thinking he might be able to do something, has had the equalizer for a possible contest, but obviously no vision. Guy's not literally Jesus, so there's no way he could have known that was going to be exactly. I mean, he could have probably thought about it, given that Joe had just ganked up top side, but probably thought they were further along than he was. Didn't think it was working.
Yep. So
That being
actually,
said,
the
look at
Rift
these farm
Turtle,
leads.
yeah, farm lead is now in the favor of the Verdant Monkeys. We do have the W land there. Ultimate
Oh
there
my
pops
god.
over the top,
Oh
and
my
another ultimate
god.
there from Farouche just shuts down Spurg again. Now Swiss Army Knife can do
Leonie.
nothing but run for his life. Kill
Oh,
given away to Toasty. Pokemon Panda, though, again is being run down into his own jungle. That's a great rupture there. Ziggs with
nice.
a great rocket charge to save his teammate. And wow, another really, really great gank there from Fruge, and a great support there from Verd.
Yeah, Spur a little bit overzealous with his positioning, not quite realizing that like just perma lock him down, and then the equalizer on top means that he's not in a position to be surviving at all. Meanwhile, topside Tokemon is getting a lot of love from Joa, realizing that he needs to have a side of the map that's going to be ahead, playing cross map, but a nice satchel charge from Bird, saving his top laner, knocking Zac out of his elastic shot.
And this is the power of the Rumble, and now he is not done going into try to
Oh,
shut
it might still
down
get him.
Wojtek.
Yep.
Flashes away, ultimate does not matter if Wojtek is shut down, and this Rumble is just off to the races.
Fruge is just running over the enemy team right now. Like you said, he's off to the races. He's going to be so enormous, building up toward that Rift Maker, and the Comet plus Scorch Spear onto the Oriana. This Rumble is going to be unstoppable. I don't even know how, excuse me, Dads of Dark are supposed to idle this point in this game.
Yeah, and right now, 11 minutes into the game, 5 kills to 1. This is the complete opposite start of game number 1, where the Verdant Monkeys fell behind, and you know, they did do a really, really job to come back. I don't think Dads of the Dark has the potential, or at least the champions, to come back in the same way, to where you saw how much damage the Equalizer does in these fights. It just immediately destroys the HP of the enemies, and it's going to be very, very tough right now for Dads of the Dark to try to build some kind of lead, but with first Dragon Pressure, this might be a bit of a start, as
Yeah,
unfortunately, bot prio and mid prio, I assume
they
shortly
can't
means
really
that this
do
might be a
it.
contested Dragon.
Yeah, Tokemon realizing that he's completely free up here in the top lane to be on this Nasus tower. Rook's out looking to possibly make either a play or a contest around here in the bot side, but he is just falling further and further behind as Rumble now has Equalizer back up as he's going to get stunned out of his elastic slingshot and punished for this.
This Force of Flash ultimate there from Bird will cut down his HP to about half. So Flash
That's a
Burn
free
means it
drag.
should be another free Dragon, yeah. And I was
Yeah,
going to mention that top side, the Rift Shell was actually given to Blood, so he will be able to pop that right there to try to get some kind of cross-map advantage. Unfortunately, Pokemon is here, only be able to get, I think, maybe 3 plays before that is going to be killed. Pokemon will just be able to get some trade damage. Blood is pretty strong in how much damage that Q does, so
yeah,
he will
this is
be
kind of the
the
win con that's left to them for sure.
yeah.
Make sure that as Rumble's definitely out of position now. Oh, just goes over him. Oh, nice Equalizer.
Yeah, the Equalizer almost just actually will kill Brooks down immediately. Ultra there from the Jin will force out the TP from Blood. They will just be able to disengage. Monkey is still here, and that means that Brookstown will be shut down. We'll actually just turn around
Oh,
Hook Land here
no.
on the Fruja. Unfortunately, he will be shut down by the Tristana. Unfortunate there from him, and the rest of the team is here trying to get something back. Unfortunately, they cannot. Blood is very low HP.
Oh, and they kill him.
Wojtek falls alongside Blood in the double kill for Bird, and this is just, you know, a decent turnaround, but oh, Monkey does go in, but that will be to his death as he almost actually is able to kill Spurk in the end of that, but this is honestly just bad from bad to worse for the Dads After Dark. Ooh, ultimate over top, unfortunately, just barely misses.
Delays the back, that's really all he needs. Oh my god, they're still delaying it as well. And another Dark Harvest stack. Wow, that's actually really good for them. They're going to get this out.
Yeah, and this is just a really incredible start from the
Yeah, it
Verdant
went from
Monkeys.
really bad to really good to really bad and then really good again. And initially it was Rumble getting caught out on a little bit deep of a dive going into the jungle, is able to blast cone directly over the Orianna, and when the rest of Dads and Dark commit into that choke, equalizers and does so much damage to the enemy team. But when they re-engage on the team, Blood is really tanky at this point. He has the Sunder, he has the Merc Shreds, he's hard to kill. So it takes him a really long time to kill him, and Monkey and Fruge are getting chipped down that entire time. So when Monkey flashes out of the hook, Fruge gets hooked in, and he pays his life for that. But on the back end, they have so much range. You're talking Jin, you're talking Ziggs bombs, and just general poke, that they're able to secure a lot on the back end of that.
Yeah, and right now, Bird, 4-0-1, has a 2k, just above 2k gold lead here on his late opponent in Wojtek. And in that whole entire fight, as Works Out now comes back to the top side, forces the flash again out from Pokemon Panda. I think Pokemon Panda was able to free farm in the meanwhile, and has evened up the CS lead in the top side, also has completed his item, so Pokemon Panda maybe did die once, but he is doing very well for himself, as his most likely is going to be gifted over to these Ziggs, and this is just going to be a, I think just how well the Verdant Monkeys can continue to push their lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a resourceless champion versus a Ziggs. It's kind of a no-brainer who the blue buff is going to. That said, Spurk is getting engaged on another nice flip, but they still do so much damage.
Ultimate there comes out over the top. Hook does miss as the ultimate as well from the Ziggs does miss. Pokemon no. We'll be pushing Blood back. We'll have to be a little actually okay because we do have Fruja here in the wings as also
Counter.
now we have Brookset coming here, but unfortunately they did not know that this was just a
Oh,
setup.
nice equalizer! They're burning!
Yeah, that was a incredibly placed equalizer on both the champions. They just take it full on.
Oh my god, he's so cracked.
Double kill, and honestly at this point, this game just might be over.
I don't know. That was an insane counter game. That equalizer just did insane amounts of damage. And meanwhile, on the bot side, it ends up being a good trade because Spurk sends his entire bomb charge into the Aftershock W of Leona, so he does almost no damage. And they force Swiss Army Cabinet Splash on that. So it's just good plays around the entire map. And Verdant Monkeys are just dominating this early game.
Yeah, and right now, this is a 6k gold lead at 16 minutes. That is, I think, one of the best early games we've seen in the TCL thus far. And for the team of the Verdant Monkeys to do this against Dads After Dark is a testament to their strength. I mean, if you told me that the match between these two teams went this way, I would have been like, oh yeah, Dads After Dark, easily. But, I mean, this is just really, really well done. All across the map, each lane is winning. Fuja has been incredible all series, just making
Hmm.
so many plays. And right
Yeah.
now, given the Rumble, he is just popping off.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Void because he's kind of been doing his thing, but he really hasn't had an opportunity to participate in the game. Everything is just kind of falling apart on the map. His jungler fell behind early. Blood's been able to get a little bit of gold lead, but that's just because Joe has been babysitting him up here in the top lane. And Pokemon has only died once for all of their troubles, as Mass is going to face jungles.
And he will get rooted up, but we do have the correct Lantern there. Unfortunately, cannot take it as he will be forced to flash away. So much damage coming through. Equalizer is a little bit short, but he will be able to shut down Swiss Army Cannon as we will have the Tristana jumping away. Blood Flash forced, and this means another dragon here as the Rift Herald is also popped just for good measure.
Yeah, an excellent job on that collapse, realizing that they can CC up this Nasus. There's nothing you can do about it. Even with the Lantern existing, doesn't matter if the Lantern is there, if you CC chain actually. That's what they did, forcing them to flash out.
Yeah, and Box, this is Soul Point
This is
for
insane.
the Verdant Monkeys, and not only is that, it's Ocean Soul. These
This might
teams,
be one of the most dominant games in
yeah,
TCL this season.
this team
This
is
is
already difficult.
unbelievable.
This team is already difficult to kill. Getting through a Leona and a Cho'Gath is already difficult. With Ocean Soul on top of all the poke, I don't know how the Dads in the Dark is going to like actually ever have a chance of winning this game.
Yeah, exactly. They really need Spurg to be a threat in this mid game. Start scaling up, get that Kraken, get that PD, and they also need this Nasus to really be able to stack harder. I don't know what the solution to be able to enable that is at this point in the game. Like you said, they can't really side lane, they can't really run into them. They were just getting completely picked and poked and CC'd to death. But they need to find some way of forcing either a vision play or a side lane play to be able to enable their carries, i.e. the Tristana and the Nasus to be able to get back into this game.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the only thing that maybe might work is if the Dads of the Dark are just allowed to scale. If they just somehow have Vermonkeys just do nothing across the map, doesn't push their lead, doesn't push end the game, and they scale, get this Void Tech, Oriana going, get Blood scaled up as Nasus can do, and get Spurg some more items, I think that's their only chance.
Yeah,
But
and shout out to Verd on top of this. 4-0-2 has really been actively participating in this game as well, and approaching about 9.5 CS a minute. Has done a really impressive job this game.
yeah, and this will be a game of seeing if Verdant Monkeys can close. And they can close well because they don't want this game to go as long as I said. So a 20-minute Baron start, I love to see that. There is going to be so much damage from not only the Ziggs, but the Rumble. We'll have the ult execute there from Pokemon.
They do it
So
kind of slow.
it's slow, but there is no fear of losing the smite still because they have the Cho'Gath R.
They take no
Right
damage.
Yeah, right now they are just moving over as unfortunately it is too little too late. Ultimate does land.
There's no way they go for this.
Pokemon,
Spurg!
but
Oh my god!
Spurg just blows up Spurg.
Spurg just walks into all the Ziggs damage in the equalizer and kills himself.
Yeah, and at this point, I would say it is over. Baron at 20 minutes is
Spurg has jump, he has heal, he has flash. He just didn't realize he was burning down.
I guess Blood on the other side of the map is pushing, so he is trying to get something back in return. Verd will be there to match it, but there's really nothing that the Dads After Dark can do. This is an 8k gold lead. They're pushing down mid. They can't really fight back against the poke. Zig will just poke him off the tower, execute the tower, and there's honestly nothing that the Dads After Dark can do at this point.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Pokemon Panda clearly counter pushing this, has the Thorn Mail, makes it really difficult for this Nemesis to be able to get through that with his spell steal, with his life steal, and then has the Sunder and the Spirit Visage, but I don't know, this Nasus might need another couple of times before he's able to really get into this team fighting 1v9.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the Nasus will ever have the chance to get there, as long as the Verdant Monkeys do play off of their Baron block. Right now, they're just looking to get their resets off, get some more items, counter push. That's what Blood has done. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll see them group up to try to get some kind of mid pressure to maybe get that mid inhibitor. right now, though we will see just I believe the group now in the mid lane as Pokemon does push back. Rookstout will push back Spurg as well. Lantern will bring him back then down into the mid lane, but with all of these players kind of getting back from base, hopefully we'll be able to see the
Yeah,
push. Blood is back in the bot lane, so we'll be trying to get some kind of pressure
just gonna
again.
be stacking. Yeah, apologies, I cut out there for a second. Just a little bit of an internet issue. I also want to point out, like, yeah, like you said, Blood just consistently want to stay in side lanes, get those stacks, and Pokemon is the actual treatment here. Oh, just kind of eats himself out of there. But I want to shout out Toasty. I really like his itemization this time. I kind of gave him a little bit of grief that last time, but he's against the Zac, he's against the Thresh, he's against the Nasus. Needs to make sure he's able to be the person that can do through all of this. Goes for that LDR second, has the Gale Force, has the Swifties, is definitely mobile enough to be able to do a lot of work in these fights.
Yeah, and right now both teams are around the Dragon Pit. They do not want to give over Soul because that would definitely spell the end of the
They might
game.
just inside push
Honestly,
him mid.
yeah, and honestly, if they don't get this and they lose the team fight, this probably just will be the end of the game. So if they
Yeah,
can
they're just going to
somehow
inside
win
push
this
this
fight,
mid because they don't care if it's just one dragon if they get an inhib out of that. Oh no, they're going to stick around.
Hook will land onto the Cho'Gath, but that's not the member you want to hook. As honestly, all they need to do is let the Ziggs poke, and the Rumble just poke as well. And if they just get one good engage, fight's just over. You have the ultimate there to start off the fight. You do have the jump in there from the Zac.
Oh my god, the equalizer!
So much damage. Shuts down the Thresh Blood there on the side. Actually, great ultimate there from Wojtek. Does do so much damage. We'll have the flash there from Monkey to take down this Zac, as we'll have the flash over from Toasty getting the triple kill. And yeah, this is going to be the end of the game here. Ocean Soul will be going over to the sides of Verdant Monkeys, and at this point there is nothing that the Dance of the Dark can do.
Yeah, Bird Monkeys probably could have just gone mid and forced the tip for one drag. That would have been the other team's first drag, but opt for the team fight instead. They're able to secure the team fight win. What happened there was Thresh and Orianna basically just sat on the equalizer the entire time. Their entire health bar to that. Spurg was doing a lot of damage hitting Pokemon Panda, but the nice 4-man Ori ult, but unfortunately, Tristana ults over top of it and Nasus isn't able to get on top of it. So a little bit of an unfortunate Tristana ult, and then he pays for it with his life after Toasty flashes over. So Wojtek, very patient, uses his life to get that 4-man Ori ult, but it's a little bit of a yikes just on.
And we will see the equalizer pop there because Blood was, I think, trying to look for the kill, but double TP there means that Blood will have no chance to kill this Rumble. But like you said, it did look actually relatively decent for Dance in the Dark with that great Orion ult. Did so much damage, but unfortunately, Toasty going full just throttle, flashing over the wall, taking down Spurg, getting a triple kill.
Yeah.
And this is a almost 10k gold lead at 25 minutes. And
yeah, I do think a better play there is you just send Pokemon into them down mid, or you just send the entire team down mid. You say, okay, I don't care if they get one dragon, we'll just take your inhib for this for free. In the end, it still works out for them, but it was a little bit less. Probably could have.
Yeah, I do think that it could have been maybe a better play, but I do think getting the Ocean Soul at this point means that really whatever they do from this point, they can't lose. I think there's
that's absolutely
too much healing, too much sustain, and really there's just going to be no chance to come back to this game with how much damage is being done across the map. Looks out again.
Just casually larger than both of them.
Unfortunately, the gang is here to support. You are in the wrong hood, Joa, so he will be forced out with Blood being pushed back. All 5 members of Dance in the Dark are here too. So this will most likely mean that when the wave is here, they will just use all of their damage to take down this tower. Most likely we'll see them trying to look for another inhib, as really there's not much that the Dance of the Dark can do because they, they have no poke.
Oh, wait, a little bit of a bad flex, but that's okay. Forcing him into a tunnel, coasting fortunes.
Ooh, actually, they're actually just kind of pushed into the corner where Fujay is waiting with the damage of the Rumble. Blood is going to return kill there onto Monkey, but
oh my god!
Spurg. Another kill there. That is 2 there for Blood now, but there is so much damage here onto Toasty. Workshop will be able to get away. We'll be actually rooted up, but there's really no follow-up potential, so Blood is very, very strong here. Will be looking to try to help his team out, but unfortunately, there is not much that he can do with the damage that Jin has.
Yeah, Frush with the first, maybe not the best equalizer of the game. Really not terrible because they kind of forces him into a little bit of choke, but then they just dive past this turret, which they really didn't need to do. Um, and once they go for it, they end up trading 1 for 1. Yes, it's AD carry from support, but funnels them into that little choke where Ori lands a really nice ult and shuts down this rumble. Ultimately, just going a little bit too hard, too deep, and is able and kind of give up a little bit of a lead and advantage. At the end, they still get the turret, but no need to be trading this gold back for the team.
Yeah, I think the play in kind of on paper looked decent. They kind of funneled the team into Farouje, who into the stasis did flash away, so it looked decent. They did a lot of damage, but Blood did get those 2 kills, so definitely will be able to help his team a little bit. Does have the 3 completed items, so he will be able to be a little bit more powerful in these team fights. But as this game goes on, it's just going to be harder and harder with how much gold is in the pockets of people like
And
Verd and
notably,
Toasty.
look at all of this MR being optimized. Bird is doing work, Rumble's doing work. They have to respect all of this magic damage. They cannot afford to build armor at this point because yeah, Jin is a huge threat. Toasty is enormous, but they're so worried about all of this poke, all of this equalizer damage that they have to keep building these MR items.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like you said, this Jin is very, very scary. So no matter who they itemize for,
Oh,
there will always be someone else
oh okay,
there.
yeah.
But
Forgot
slides look
Cho'Gath's
a
a thing.
little, yep, feels like a little bit close. Equalizer does land on top. It's a little bit short. Monkey will flash in, will get
Nice
flayed up,
play.
so won't be able to do too much as Jin will be able to push them off. But this definitely means that they can definitely push this wave in to look for a, but potential end, look to kill a few members, or just look to, play it safe. As Tokwon will be able to walk topside to push this wave in simultaneously.
That is a game-saving play from Swiss Army. What an excellent reaction. Sees Monkey immediately flash in and just plays instinctively him out of his combo. Definitely saved one of his carries on him, but oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and Rookstyle tries to go in to take down the Ziggs and the Jin. Unfortunately, no one around him means that he will have his passive pop for free. Spurf will have to jump out as Monkey will be CC'd, but takes
Uh-oh,
0
might be
damage.
dead.
Great ultimate there lands on top, and that means that Spurf just dies to Toasty. 2 kills there. 3 kills fall as just so much damage comes out, just really no counterplay available. Blood will get CC'd up, but does not matter. He cannot do anything but watch as his base is just destroyed.
Yes, Spurg unfortunately standing still for the Jin W, gets rooted up, and after that, that is all she wrote for the Tristana. They try to turn the fight after, but the gold deficit is just way too much. Not able to take the Lantern. That's kind of been the story of Swiss Army Captain's game. He has played pretty exceptionally well, honestly, but the rest of his team has just been seizing up so hard that they just can't predict it.
Yeah, and trying to pad the KDAs there at the end cannot get that much damage in there, but that means game 2 goes to the Verdant Monkeys, and that is a clean 2-0 sweep.
Incredibly dominant for the Verdant Monkeys. Had a little bit of a rougher early game, but it has been all VMS for the last, I don't know, 40 minutes of games. They have looked extremely, extremely impressive. And in particular, this early game from Fruge was just insane. Just so good.
Yeah, and I don't think Fruge is ever going to get Rumble again. I don't think you can afford to give him Rumble after that performance, and I would love to see the damage charts to see just how much damage he did, because every time the Equalizer came over top, I mean, it just absolutely chewed through the enemy team, and
Yeah,
he had such great ultimate placements too. It's not like it's the easiest ultimate to place. He maybe had 1 or 2 missed ones, but when it mattered, every ultimate was perfect, and it just absolutely dominated the
insane.
Jack
Yeah,
Ripper
and
card.
then slow and steady from the side of Bird and Toasty TG. Just extremely solid damage dealers that entire time. And Tokamon, talk about Tokamon absorbing all of that pressure top lane and really only giving up a single kill. Of course, Fruit one of those ganks was Fruit making an excellent counter game with that insane equalizer, but still solid play from the entire side of VMS.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tosi and Verd, deathless in game 2, 7-0 and 10, 4-0 and 9. I mean,
Yeah,
Verd, these 2 games just absolutely smurfed on the Ziggs. There was really nothing that the other team could do. I think Blood tried to flex a little bit with the Nasus. Unfortunately, he got shut down pretty
just didn't
hard.
do anything. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and if you take a look at these damage charts here, we see how much damage that everyone did. I mean,
Yeah.
Blood tried his best, Wojtek tried his best, but the damage from the Rumble, the Ziggs, and the Jin was just too much.
Yeah, I don't even know who to give MVP to this game. I feel like it was very much a team effort. that early game from Frugier this game was just insane. I would personally give it to probably Frugier, but at the same time, Tokyo Panda was such an insane performance that game one, and then absorbing this much pressure go in game two, and just still being an absolute beast on the Cho'Gath. It's tough to say.
Yeah, I think props to Tokuman. I think he really, really, honestly, I would have voted him the worst top laner in the league this year, but especially after the Footlongs game. But this performance against Blood, I would have to rethink that. And I do think he did absorb pressure, game number two, and did really, really well game number one. But I think really this win is just on the back of Frugé's performance.
Okay, let's do that then.
game number one, he got so many kills off his great nocturnals, and he did so
Yeah,
well. And then game number two, it was a Frugé show. It was
yeah,
the rumble just everywhere across the map, and he gave
yeah.
his team the lead. And
Seeing
I would
some
say he's
dissent
my
in the
MVP.
chat. Yeah, I would say so as well. I'm seeing some dissent in the chat. It's really a tough decision. I think EMS as a team has played so well that you can make a very clear argument for every single person. It would
Yeah,
be an entirely valid argument. But
I
I
do
think
think
overall,
Yeah, I do think if there was a second person, I would say it would be Ver, just because he played so consistent.
he's been so solid. Yeah.
But I think the person who gave his team the lead and was the reason why they were able to get back into the game or just spiral was Fruge for me.
Yeah, let's do that then. So let's go ahead and pull in Fruge for a little bit of a post game interview. If the man is around, hold on.
We'll have to, there we go. Fruge is in the channel with us right now. Fruge, are you here with us?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Congratulations on a really incredible performance through both of these games. And honestly, it was, in my opinion, on the backs of you. You had such great picks with the Nocturne in game number one. You really, really allowed your team to come back from that deficit. In game number two, I mean, it was the Fruge show. You were everywhere you needed to be. Your ultimates were so well placed. I mean, tell us how that series went.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have really good teammates who like understand how to play around each other pretty well, even though we don't really have a lot of practice. Like honestly, we do not have a ton of games together, but I feel like we already have a lot of natural synergy because it's a lot of the same guys from last split. And we have a bot kingdom. Mid's a wipe every time, and then Toki's winning 1v2s, and when I show up, we wipe them 2v2 in 2 seconds. So uh, it's pretty easy to play games when you've got a really good team around you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the really cool things, like you said, that early synergy that you were really seeing out. Whose ward was it on that Raptor camp on the first clear? Was that your ward?
No, that would be Verds.
Yeah, excellent ward on that. Because I feel like a lot of that early game really spiraled out of how ahead you were on that early clear, and Tokemon's being able to pressure after seeing Zach on his Raptors, and Tokemon's like, okay, I'm safe to push this lane and break this freeze.
Yeah, once we got that early ward down, we knew his pathing, and we knew like we could transition to a double scuttle. And
Yeah, so you did that, pushed in, put another ward down, and just basically just snowballed the game from there. That was insane.
yeah, we pretty much knew Zach pathing from the very beginning. I think we had him tracked on map for like the first 10 minutes. It was like
Yeah,
impossible for him to play the game. And then when he did show, he did a really risky gank top, and I just stole his entire bot side. So it was pretty fun.
And I do
yeah,
have to ask
exactly.
you, game number one, obviously you had a little bit of a rough start. Your bot lane got 2v2'd, and it was a little bit of it looked a little rough topside with Blood just getting so much of a CS lead. But tell me how your team kind of came together and was able to get such a great comeback in that game.
Well, when I saw we died 2v2, I really wasn't that worried because I think we have the best bot lane in TCL, so I knew they were going to be able to turn around. And they did. Toasty got a nice condemn followed by a Morg bind, and they were able to get a kill in the 2v2. And then I was able to get that R off top after Blood tried to flash kill me. So, I mean, we always had like ways back into the game. Like we know not to like rush plays. Like we know our windows, we know our flash timers. So, we
Yeah,
all trust each other. So,
how unplayable did Poppy make the game for them? Kind of like
oh my
in game
god.
one, like moving into mid late. I
Yeah,
feel like Toki just sat on them and they could not do anything.
we were talking about it, and it was a pick we've like discussed as like a really high value pick, and then they picked five champions with dashes, and we were like, and they picked full AD into Poppy,
Yeah.
and Poppy is just unkillable at that point. Like we saw Toki top kingdom soloing Blood, he's living in his head rent free.
Yeah, it
So
was insane. Yeah, so Blood tried to all in him, and it looked bad for Toki at first, and then Toki's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna sit in this bush until your ult runs out," and then just kills him. It
yeah,
was
Poppy
insane.
with Frostfire I think is a really underrated pick. It's up there with your Dr. Mundos in terms of just like raw tank stats with the
Yeah,
W.
for sure. And can you talk a little bit about just how solid Verve was that entire series? I feel like just
Oh,
as a team, like you said, just really kind of clicked in the series.
oh yeah, Verd was so lights out on Ziggs. It was insane. Like his satchels canceling the Zac W's like on repeat. Like he dodged a bunch of early ganks mid. I bet you guys saw when he flash W'd himself out. Like he soaked up so much pressure, him and Toki together. Like Verd played lights out.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't think you're gonna see Rumble in your games anymore after that performance. But last week you had a little bit of a rough game against the Footlongs, and here you come out and give the Dads of the Dark the first loss of the season. How do you expect this team to continue developing for the rest of the season?
Well, I thought last week I was coming off a vacation that the Footlongs paid for because they didn't want to play against me week one. I can confirm with PayPal receipts. Um, but yeah,
Excellent.
after our week one performance, like we were all talking, and we had a 5K gold lead at 16 minutes versus what people are saying is the best team, and we just forfunded at the dragon fight and lost game one, and we were like, oh, do we suck? And then like we kind of all went over the VODs as a team, and we were like, we have the best early game. Like as long as we're not like actively trolling, we're just gonna run games over, get soul, and just win. So kind of what we just
Well,
talked about. And we were like, hey, we don't have to rush things, just slow play, and yeah, we all really bought in.
that's so exciting. So next week you are matched up versus I'll take mid's team. I believe Dark Horse is their name.
Team
What
Dark
do you
Horse.
what do you have kind of looking forward to that?
Who's the jungler?
Give me one moment. That would be Wally Warp.
Okay, so Monkey's going for the revenge tour, taking out all of his old teammates. I think it'll be a fun match. I think we match up pretty well against him. Gonna early prediction. I think we should be able to 2-0 him.
Oh, okay. I always
Yeah,
love the confidence and the boldness of 2-0 predictions.
yeah,
Yeah,
should be a clean 2-0.
and hey, you show up today with a 2-0 against a team that I thought was going to 2-0 you, and that's really just a credit to how strong your team has become. So congratulations again on your
Appreciate it.
victory. Go back with your team and go celebrate. All right.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
And AI Box, any final words for us on this smashing tonight?
That was a lot of fun to watch, and I mean, I still think there's a lot of good things that we could say about Dads After Dark. I feel like they had a pretty solid showing in the early game of game one. Spurg had definitely had moments where he looked like he was going to be able to hard carry the game. And it's not necessarily individual performance that I would say that kind of like kept him down, but overall, maybe there's some team synergies, some team early game things that they can look at, in particular in game two, that they can really look to improve on. Because I still think they're a really solid team. Like you said, they were undefeated, kind of moving into this. They have a lot of potential moving forward. There's no reason to think that they can't take this type of series, take this type of loss in game two, learn from it, and then make sure that these types of mistakes or advantages don't go the other way the next time.
I would definitely agree. I think the individual talent is definitely apparent for the Dads of the Dark. I think obviously Blood is one of the best top laners. I don't think anyone can say that he is the best after this kind of game. But I think it is that kind of that team synergy, right? We saw how well that the vision control, the really just the team plays worked out for the Verdant Monkeys. And if the Dads of the Dark kind of find their groove in the way that they want to play as a team, I think they'll definitely be able to continue their winning start, which they had. But for me, I think it's really cool to see how many teams that I might undervalue just come out swinging and show up a lot more than I would expect them to against teams that I thought would just dominate them. So I think this is a testament to the strength of the TCL players this season. I think it's whoever is going to win or be in those playoffs. I think it's going to be a close battle, not so dominant as it was last season.
Yeah. Oh, and I want to correct myself. I apologize. It wasn't Team Dark Horse. It was the Kangaroo Corral. That's who they were playing next time around, captained by Altek.
Hmm. Well, names do not matter, as the only name that matters tonight is the Verdant Monkeys, who took a great 2-0 win against the Dads After Dark, pushing themselves up to, I believe, a 2-1 record. and then pushing the Dads After Dark down to the same. So thank you all for watching. That was a great performance all around. It was really, really great to see. Dads After Dark gave it their best shot, but fell short in the end. So we will be back, I believe, tomorrow with another match. So stay tuned for more TCL action. And I am joined here, of course, by my co-caster in AI Box. And yeah, have a great night, everybody, and we will see you in the next match.